play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view.
I can never get attached. When I start to feel I'm attached, somehow I was in a feeling bad. Baby, I am not your dad. It's not all you want from me. I just want your company. Girl, it's obvious, elephant in the room. We're part of it, don't act so confused. And you love starting it, now I'm in the mood. Now we arguing in my bedroom. We play games of love to avoid the depression. We've been here before and I won't be a victim.
Why you always in the mood? Around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. Why you always in the mood? Around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. So why you tryna pay your love on the regular when you could be blowing up just like my cellular? I won't never let a shorty go and set me up. Only thing I need to know is if you enough. I'm talking slick back, kick back, gang sipping 40s. You keep playing another day with your shorty. Mismatch fish, that was way before you know me. Got a lot of love, but you better save it for me.
We play games of love to avoid the depression. We've been here before and I won't be a victim.
Why you always in the mood? Around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. Why you always in the mood? Around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view, yeah.
In a whole other life, there was this boy that I knew. He made me feel like a woman. We were young and silly fools. Anyway, he was in the band. Wrote love songs about me. I wasn't crazy about the words, but the melodies were sweet. When someone like do 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 do. Every time we go dancing, I see his straying eyes. Gave him too many chances, pushed my keys too many times. Anyway, he started acting up, and I'll be on my way to leave. But I stopped in my tracks when I heard this melody. And it went like do 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 do. He used to sing me sweet melodies. He played me, made me believe it was real love. Sang me sweet melodies, but the day he did me wrong, the song couldn't go on and on. He used to sing me sweet melodies. He played me, made me believe it was real love. Sang me sweet melodies, but the day he did me wrong, the song couldn't go on and on. He would lie, he would cheat over syncopated beats. I was just his tiny dance, so he had control of my feet. Yes, when he came along, that's when I lost the groove. There was no song in the world to sing along or make me move. Silence all like do 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 do. He used to sing me sweet melodies. He played me, made me believe it was real love. Sang me sweet melodies, but the day he did me wrong, the song couldn't go on and on. He used to sing no replay. Caught in the memory when you touch my body and you say my name, giving me what I need. Every minute, so lost in it, like you're in my bed. Every hour, give you power, I'm losing mine instead. 24/7, got you on my mind. Think about you all the time. My body wants you night and day, but my head is screaming, go away. 24/7, got you on my mind. Tell you that I don't have the time. My body wants you night and day. I'm losing all control of me.
Put your name on it just in case you decided you coming out. No time for thinking, too busy dancing and drinking. Know you've been meaning to get up out of your house. Baby, throw that Fendi on the floor. Addicted to you, love it, need some more. Heard you want my body, I want yours. You already know that I already know.
24/7, got you on my mind. Think about you all the time. My body wants you night and day, but my head is screaming, go away. 24/7, got you on my mind. No control of me. Every minute, so lost in it, like you're in my bed. Every hour, give you power, I'm losing mine instead.
Tear my shirt off. This girl I saw around town, well now she's going down. Stuck on a losing streak, I think you've turned it around. Read all about it, have you heard the latest? Boy in a band, both Hollywood actress. But baby, you and me, we came up from the street. No time to hesitate, we got a bunch of weight. Can you feel it? Rockin' the city, ah yeah. Straight out of nowhere, nice, like a fist. Can't resist you, oh no. I'll tell you something. You know I love ya, I just wanna touch ya. Stand up, knock me right off my feet. Hard to beat. Goodness, no, I've never known a night like this. Can't believe it. You're so hard to beat, hard to beat. Drive me crazy, my beautiful baby. Let's spend the whole day right here together. You know I love ya, just wanna touch ya. Stand up, knock me right off my feet. Hard to beat, hard to beat, hard to beat. Ah yeah, girl, you've got something I like. Ah yeah, girl, you've got something I like.
Mark, back at Edgbaston to face the Derbyshire Falcons, an opportunity to go top and an opportunity to put a performance on for the spectators.
Yeah, it's obviously what you want to do. They're two good goals, but it's our first game here. First game with hopefully a full crowd. Raucous Edgbaston, we haven't had that. We've obviously been on the road and our one and only home game postponed, so everybody's just really excited to play in front of a crowd and put our own crowd.
Slightly frustrating end to the week with the abandoned match against the Lightning and then obviously the defeat at Durham, but a big opportunity to put it right tonight.
Nothing to put right, you win some, you lose some. The boys did everything they could to pull off a victory at Durham. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Commitment was there. You move on, and like you say, you come here hoping to entertain, hoping for a victory.
And teams have to deal with situations such as Jake Lintott's COVID, Dan Mosley's picked up an injury in training. How confident are you that the guys that step in are just going to almost boost those performances?
Look, we're missing 4 people who would probably hope to start in your team that you're looking to put out at the beginning of the season, but as you always say, it gives opportunity to other people. So for Liam Norwell and for Lammy tonight, it's their chance to come in and hopefully put a marker down and make a statement for future selection.
You encourage team morale, you encourage kind of be themselves and be vibrant around the place. How have they been these last few days?
No, we're good. I mean, obviously the schedule was quite brutal. It's been a little bit easier of late. We actually had our first preparation day yesterday, where you were able to actually have a whole day just on white ball 2020 skills, which we haven't had at all. That was our first one, which is astonishing. Obviously our turnover was quite quick from the red ball, but look, spirits are good. They're a good bunch, they're a lively bunch, and they're here to have some fun and hopefully, as you say, entertain.
We're at the midway point, 7 games gone, 7 more to go, 6 at home. You pleased with where we are in third?
But you take that, don't you? I think, from a championship point of view, to go into the break and be very tight, but you're top, and to be third, the first goal is to qualify. Obviously, what you want to really do is try and come down one of those 1 and 2 spots and get a home tie. Your first goal is to qualify, and at the moment that's still on the cards, so you'll take that, but we know we've got a lot of cricket to come and some big tests to come.
It is a tight group, isn't it? A lot of teams competing at the top, and then a team like Northampton, who potentially were struggling, beat Durham last night. So there are no easy games in this group. We have to prepare for every single one.
I think both groups are the same, isn't it? All the teams around the country now have got players that can really hurt you. And if one of the big players has a day in the sun, that can cause an upset. We're just going to make sure from our point of view we do what we do really, really well. We concentrate on our basics and our processes and all those things that coaches will talk about. But as much as anything, it's the players to be brave. As I say, I keep saying to them, you have a choice. Do you want to be good or do you want to be great? And to be great, you've got to take some risks.
Our first team coach, Mark Robinson there. Now, of course, we are very much live in the stadium here. The Hollies is already going mad. Have we got any students in tonight, I wonder? Yeah, I think there's quite a few. So as we head through the next few minutes, we will get your teams for tonight. But first, I am joined by club journalist Brian Halford. Brian, the Falcons have won the toss. They're going to have a bowl first. We'll talk about that shortly. But this is a game which has a bit of a history, isn't it?
It has got a bit of history, Beck, and Derbyshire are flying in the face of it by choosing to bowl, because they chose to bowl, of course, in this game back in 2015, and Brendan McCullum scored 158 not out that night, the biggest score ever by a Bear in T20. So, yeah, there is history in this fixture, and it's mostly good for the Bears. The teams have met 11 times in the Blast, and the Bears have won 11, so hopefully there's more of that to come. Most recently, of course, 3 weeks ago, the Bears won by 3 wickets at Derby, a really good win thanks to a half-century from Dan Mosley. So the trends are good for the Bears.
Mosley just up the road, but Dan Mosley not here tonight, out with injury. Matt Lamb comes in to replace him. What do you make of that?
That's right, yes, a real shame for Dan Mosley. He's done so well, super knock at Derby the other week, and he's contributed to a lot of games. Really gifted young cricketer, but he's got a broken finger, so he's out for a game or 2. But Matt Lamb is another talented youngster who's come through the Bears system. He's a good player. Similarly, Liam Norwell comes in today for Jake Bethel, so that's another good all-round cricketer coming in. The Bears have been a bit unlucky. They've lost Rob Yates, of course, with illness, and Jake Lintott, of course, with COVID, but they have got depth in the squad and they're doing well at the moment, so let's hope they can keep the ball rolling.
What are your thoughts ahead of tonight? Because obviously the Blast campaign for us has gone quite well so far. A little bit of a rain interval for us the other night. Derbyshire maybe not feeling quite as confident.
That's right, Derbyshire are low in the table, but then so were Northants last night, and they beat Durham by 9 wickets. The table can be turned upside down in any game of 2020. The Bears will be very disappointed not to win this one, of course, having already beaten Derby in the competition, but anybody is dangerous in T20, and Derbyshire, having lost the other night at Leicester, have changed their captain. Matt Critchley has taken over the captaincy, so they'll be all trying to prove a point to him.
On a night like tonight, what would you have done first?
I think I'd have, if I was Derbyshire, I might have had a bat. But to be honest, I don't think the Bears are that bothered. They've won games batting first and bowling first in this competition so far. Will Rhodes, the captain, said yesterday that's one of the most pleasing things about the Bears' strong start. They can win batting or bowling first. Lots of different players have contributed. So it's all going well. Fantastic atmosphere in the ground. So many people in fancy dress. Lots of noise, lots of song. And let's hope for a cracking game.
Mouth-watering fixture. Thank you very much, Brian. We will catch up with you a bit. But now it is time to get your teams for this evening, and we will start with the Derbyshire Falcons. Number 10, Lewis Rees. Number 4, Harry Kane. Number 24, Tom Wood. Number 76, Louis Deploy. Number 20, Captain Matthew Critchley. Number 33, Finn Hudson-Prentice. Number 29, Brooke Guest. Number 21, Matty McKiernan. Number 37, Logan Van Beek. Connor McKeer. And number 9, George Scrimshaw. And your Birmingham Bears for this evening. Number 28, Ed Pollock. Number 21, Adam Hose. Number 35, Captain Will Rhodes. Number 16, Sam Hain. Number 26, Carlos Brathwaite. Number 7, Matt Lamb. Number 61, Michael Burgess. Number 3, Tim Bresnan. Number 24, Danny Briggs. Number 18, Craig Miles. And number 24, Liam Norwell. Okay, So it's been a good start to the season so far. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the Bears games up to this point. Please welcome onto the field tonight's on-field umpires Ben Debenham and Paul Pollard. Welcome onto the field, your fielding team, led by their captain, Matt Critchley, the Derbyshire Falcons. And opening the batting for the Birmingham Bears, number 28, Ed Pollock, and number 21, Adam Hose. To open the bowling from the Birmingham men, number 37, Logan Van Beek.
We can start now. Welcome to Edgbaston then for the first actual home game of this Vitality Blast campaign, and it's going to be Derbyshire, who won the toss, who will open up the bowling from the Birmingham end, and it's going to be Logan Van Beek, the New Zealander, who gets us going immediately. That's down the leg side, and a wide is called. The standing umpires for this evening, Ben Debenham and Paul Pollard. Welcome to Bears Den TV then. The lights are on as ever. The dark clouds look a little bit higher. We did have a shower about 5:30, but we are off and running on time, which is a little bit of a surprise. We'll be joined later by the former Bear, Paul Smith, and also, of course, Marie Kelly, who captains the Warwickshire women's team, and obviously is playing in the 100 coming up soon as well, and that's outside the off stump, and there's a waft there from Pollock. But alongside me at the moment is the Warwickshire club journalist, of course, renowned cricket writer, Brian Halford, who's on our first stint of commentary. Nice to get started on time and actually see some cricket here with people.
Absolutely, Adam. The Bears have had 4 away wins and 6 away games, of course, but only 1 at home, and that was rained off. So they haven't had much luck. Touch wood, it's dry at the moment and will remain so. But there's a great atmosphere in, isn't there? Lots of noise being cranked up. Lots of students here tonight, fancy dress, and it's a terrific atmosphere for this first home blast game of the season.
That's off the pads. There'll be a leg bye for Ed Pollock. Derbyshire not going with the
scored 158 that night, so there's a bit of a precedent there. Be nice if Mr. Pollock or Mr. Hose could emulate McCullum.
What a night that was. 2 balls in, 2 runs on the board. First chance for Adam Hose to take strike. Logan van Beek, of course, the New Zealander, who's also played international cricket for Holland. Second time he's here. Bit of a late plump from the coach Dominic Cork as well, having originally signed up. I think was it Billy Andrade they originally signed up, I think. Injury-prone fast bowler from Australia, Billy Stanlake, that was it, who was coming in, but he picked up an injury. So they plumped for Van Beek, who was pretty successful for them in 2019. Bit of moving behind the bowler's arm at the moment. That's causing the delay. Only 6,000, of course, allowed in. However, they're making a decent noise already inside the Edgbaston bowl. I wonder if the issue is the stewards that stood there in his fluorescent jacket that maybe is causing the problem here. Because there didn't seem to be too many people moving at the time. But we wait. And now I think, yes, it's the steward who's now crouched down. Well, who'd have thought a man in a high-vis jacket would cause such a problem?
He's crouched down, but he's still in high vis and still pretty much where he was. So if he was interfering before, I'm not quite sure how he isn't now. But anyway, Adam Hose is happy.
I guess the clues are all there. High visibility. He's going to be seen wherever he goes. Here's Hose's first ball. That's a lovely cutaway. That's going all the way to the boundary for 4, and they're off the mark. The first 4 of the game, and it goes to Adam Hose, and the Bears up to 6 midway through the first over.
Well, that's a nice sight on the scoreboard for a batsman, isn't it? 1 ball face, 4 runs. Lovely shot right off the middle. Bit of width there from the bowler, which he'll be keen not to repeat. And Adam Hose threw his hands through it. Lovely 4 runs, 6 for 0, 3 balls.
Much chat about how many points are going to be required to get you into that top 4 and into the knockout stages of the blast this year. Feeling is more than the usual 15 or so. There are 3 points separating the top 5 sides in the North Division. And all it needs is the likes of Leicester and Northants to start getting some results, and the pressure will intensify.
Well, that's right. I mean, the Bears, you would think, are hot favourites tonight, but so were Durham last night against Northants, of course, who had a wretched time, and Northants won that one by 9. Vigil or 2 has a real night to remember in a blast game.
Here's Van Beek again. Decent length. It's caught the inside edge of Adam Hose's bat, and there was a shy at the stumps. It was a decent attempt, hitting them well, but Ed Pollock was in his ground. Hose moves on to 5. And a good first over for the Bears.
The Bears, of course, without Dan Moseley tonight. Wretched luck for young Dan. He broke a finger in training yesterday morning, so he'll be out for a couple of games at least, and he's been playing so well in the tournament. But Matt Lamb, who's come in, another homegrown product, very, very capable all-round cricketer too.
Last ball of Van Beek's over. That's short, flashed at by Pollock, and the umpire is unmoved. And that's the end of the first over. 7 on the board then. Good start for the Bears. I suspect Van Beek would have taken that when we started off. So, I mean, you've mentioned that Dan's obviously not playing. Still without Jake Lintott, obviously because of COVID. We know Ollie Stone's out for the rest of the season. I've seen Henry Brooks having a good bowl today. Looks like that thigh problem is coming good, because they are just a little bit short with Chris Wokes away as well.
Well, Chris Wokes, of course, as you say, is lost as well. And, yeah, they have, I mean, Bethel is ready to come in as well, so they have got some depth, but Jake Lintott is at the heart of their bowling plans, of course, so yeah, he is a loss. But as Will Rhodes was saying the other day, one of the most pleasing things for the Bears' strong start so far is that a lot of different players have contributed, and that's very important if you're going to have a consistent group. You can't lean on the same players all the time, and at the moment the Bears are showing the depth to withstand this little flurry of absentees. And as you say, Henry Brooks looks as though he's getting somewhere close. Rob Yates should be back in the mix soon, so those two who haven't contributed yet because they haven't played, hopefully will contribute a lot in the second half of the group.
Poor old Peter Milan, one cracking innings, he can't get in the team now.
I felt so sorry for Peter after, he's had a tough time, gets runs, but that's competition, isn't it?
Conor McCurr, over number 2. He's gone, hoses out, just reaching for that outside the off stump. Elevated, catch comfortably taken. And Adam Hose will, I think, a little frustrated. He was just stretching for it, and he's just guided it into the hands of the fielder. And the Bears have lost their first wicket with 7 on the board. Yeah,
very similar shot to the one that brought Adam Hose 4 runs in the first over. This one he didn't keep down. The other one, there was a beautiful shot, found the gap, but also all along the ground. This one he wasn't quite in so much control of. It was a little wider, I think, not quite to the pitch of the ball, and it was a good low catch taken there at point. And McCurr strikes first ball up. Disappointment for Adam Hose. The Bears 7 for 1.
Will Rhodes, the captain. First time he's been in charge here, of course, in a T20 game with supporters within the ground. It's a nice moment for him. He didn't win the toss, which he would have liked to have done. I think they'd have liked to have had a bowl tonight, wouldn't they? However, there is a little bit of moisture on the surface from that shower that we had just over an hour ago, so maybe the ball will get a little damp for these Derbyshire players.
I think the Falcons perhaps also factoring in there may be interruptions, in which case often it's good to be chasing if it's a reduced target, so you know exactly what you're chasing. Rhodes, though, a man in form, had a slow start to the tournament, but batted superbly a week ago at Leicester. He's got plenty of time to build an innings now.
And Rhodes will face ball number 2 from McCurr. Decent ball as well, on a good length, and played back down the wicket by Will Rhodes. Was a super innings at Leicester, wasn't it?
Yeah. I wasn't actually at that game. I was just watching it with a couple of friends on the box, and I just mused to them as Rhodes came out to bat. This chap's not having much of a season in T20, and of course he batted magnificently, didn't he? And that's the sort of player that Rhodes can be. We've seen him bat very destructively in the Championship at times.
Well, that one's just got up him a little, turned round the corner. Just be 1 run. Dealt with it really nicely, Will Rhodes. Just a little bit of bounce there for McCurr. Looked like it took him a little by surprise.
Yeah, it is a humid evening, isn't it? And if there is a little bit of moisture in the pitch, there may well be a little bit of swing as well. It's very warm at Edgbaston this evening, so not worst bowling conditions.
Do you know if this is one of the hybrid services, Brian, or is this beautifully prepared as ever by Gary and his team here at Edgbaston? Pollock's had a swing at that one. Got a little something on it, just tickle him round the corner. It will just be 1 run. It's been signalled as a leg by, though.
Yeah, I think Ed Pollock might regard that as a bit of a missed opportunity. Any sort of bat on that, I think it would have been 4 or perhaps even 6. It's a very short, fine leg boundary when the bowling is from this pavilion end, and a leg by really maybe could have been 4 or 6 there.
Really good over so far by McCurr. 2 runs and a wicket from it. He's in, and Rhodes has gone over the top, and Rhodes is out. He's gone. 3rd ball. The captain departs. Not the start that was wanted by the 6,000 in Edgbaston tonight. McCurr's got his 2nd of the over, and the Bears are 9 for 2 as Will Rhodes trudges off. Never anywhere near getting hold of that.
No, that was a little bit indiscreet. Maybe Rhodes going for a big shot when you don't really need to do that, do you, in the 2nd over and the wicket already down. And McCurr has 2 for 1 from his first 5 balls. And as you say, Adam, very, very far from the start the Bears wanted, because when you do lose early wickets, you do need the other batsmen just to shore things up a little bit. And Ed Pollock now, instead of all guns blazing, may have just to rein himself in a little bit, and there's a bit of retrenchment for the Bears to do. In comes Sam Hain, though. He's a man who knows how to score T20 runs more than any other batsman for the Bears in the competition.
Averaging 71 already this season. Scoring quite freely. He'll relish being back here as well. 9 for 2 then. 1 ball remaining in this second over. What an over it's been from Conor McKerr. Derbyshire 8th in the table, just the 2 wins from their 8 matches so far. Of course, they got to finals day here in 2019. Last season, though, lowest wins and points of any team in either of the 2 divisions in the T20 Blast. I mean, they suffered a little bit last season because they weren't allowed to play at Derby. They had to play at Chesterfield instead because that ground had been taken over due to being available for COVID matches in the middle of the pandemic, of course. McKerr's in here outside the off stump, left by Hayne, and at the end of the second over, 9 for 2, and it's a terrible over for the Bears. 2 runs and 2 wickets.
Yes, one of those runs, of course, a leg by, so McKerr's figures after 6 balls, 1 over, 2 for 1. Won't get much better start than that. The Bears, of course, are playing Derbyshire at perhaps a bit of an awkward time because, by all accounts, Derbyshire were really poor at Leicester when they were beaten in midweek, and following that, the captain, Billy Godleman, stepped down from the captaincy. He's been replaced by Matt Critchley, so I think there is a sense, like in football terms, you never want to play a team after they've appointed a new manager. There's a new captain in place, and Derbyshire have responded brilliantly so far.
Over 2 from Van Beek this time. That's through the covers. That's beautiful from Ed Pollock. Lovely shot. Not too much footwork, but a lovely drive. And first boundary for Ed Pollock. He's off the mark. He's on to 4. The Bears on to 13.
I did just for a moment wonder if it was going to go to cover again. It wasn't too far away, but Pollock's placement was good. His timing, as always, was excellent. And that's his first boundary.
Van Beek will look to do better this time. A little bit fuller, and he's taken a mighty swipe at that. And there's hands on heads all around the outfield. I think he was very close to finding the edge of his bat. It was well taken by Brooke Guest, the wicket-keeper for Derbyshire Falcons.
Pretty close to the stumps as well, I think, wasn't it? I think the Bears just need to... They're a bit giddy at the moment, aren't they? It's 13 for 2. You don't need to be losing another wicket now, so maybe the good balls for the foreseeable future, just keep them out.
It's Van Beek again, bowling to Pollock, cuts that one away, and that's 4 runs. Short boundary, cut away really nicely. Just got up a little on Ed Pollock, but he dealt with it really well. Second boundary over for him, and the Bears moving nicely onto 17 for 2.
Yes, you're absolutely right there, Adam. It did climb at Pollock, and he adjusted beautifully and just guided the way down to the third man boundary. It is a very short boundary. The pitch for this game right over on the Priory stand side of the ground, and the boundary rope is a good 20 yards in from the Holly stand, and even then it's a long boundary, so the pitch is right over one side of the square.
Van Beek, how will he respond with the ball wide outside the off stump, which Ed Pollock just swings at and misses again, and it's through to the keeper. Certainly he's going to play his way, there's no doubt about it. Maybe Sam Hayne's going to be the more reserved individual at the other end. He's going to have to be as they look to rebuild the innings here. 17 for 2. Third over. Not the start anyone wanted tonight. Particularly the traffic cones away to my left-hand side. I can see in the lower tier of the stand. I think the fancy dress shops have been busy this week, that's for sure. We're back here again, of course, on Saturday too. Oh, that's huge from Pollock. That's a terrific shot. On a length and dealt with accordingly. Magnificent clearance of the boundary ropes on the leg side from Ed Pollock.
Yeah, that's what he can do. It was a straight delivery, but it was just on his toes, and he flicked it perfectly over landed a good 30 yards over the long boundary, almost reached Minnie Mouse, who I can see there looking particularly lively in amongst the fancy dress throng. It almost reached the Holly stand, which with the pitch over that side is some hit. Great hit from Pollock.
Bears on to 23, last ball of the over. Driven that one, but he's not got hold of it inside of the bat. And it's gone out on the leg side and is fielded
23 for 2 at the end
quite comfortably in the end by Critchley, the captain. And the end of the third over, it's looking a little brighter. 14 from it, 23 for 2, 3 overs gone.
Well, they say T20 is a game of fine margins, and the bowler might be reflecting exactly that there, because Ed Pollock was inches away from being bowled one ball, and he smoked the next one for a huge 6. So that's T20, isn't it? 23 for 2, Pollock 14, Hayne 0, and it looks like we have a new bowler, McCurr, coming off with figures of 2 for 1 after 1 over.
Well, he'll protect those, I'm sure. Maybe he's feeling a little nickel. Finn Hudson Prentice will enter the fray.
Would you have given him another? That was not a bad over, was it? You
I
might have earned another one.
Well, you'd have thought so, wouldn't you? But maybe that's his modus operandi. Quick burst, couple of wickets, and I'll come back later. And that's cut Sam Hayne in half, and he's gone. Sam Hayne not happy with the decision, but he's been caught behind. He just advanced down the wicket. It looked like it moved back into him, almost cut him in two, and Sam Hayne is gone. And his second ball duck for the inform bear, and it's 23 for 3.
Well, Sam Hayne didn't want to go, did he? Now, whether that is just disappointment or whether he thinks maybe it flicked the top of his pad, I don't know. We'll have to have another look on the replay. But there was no doubt amongst the fielders and the keeper, and that's a huge blow. Hayne goes for 0, only his second duck in the 2020 for Warwickshire in all those years. And the Bears are in a bit of a pickle now, 23 for 3.
No surprise that Matt Lamb is coming in now ahead of Carlos Brathwaite, who I'm pretty sure they would have liked up their sleeves until, what, around over 12, 13. And Matt Lamb enters the fray. 3 overs gone. I mean, what an introduction as well for Finn Hudson Prentice, the second Derbyshire bowler to pick up a wicket with their first ball.
Indeed, and that was a good delivery as well, didn't it? It really followed Hayne and bounced, and as you spotted, there is some life in this wicket.
Bowls again, just turned round the corner into the leg side, just backward a square, just be a single, and Matt Lamb gets himself off the mark.
Not a bad decision to rest McCurr after 1 over as it transpires. Matt Critchley must think captaincy is a pretty easy thing. Everything he's done so far has paid off, including at the moment choosing to bowl.
Critchley, of course, got his wrist spin as well, which we may see at some point, you would think, in this innings. Really good start for the Falcons, though. But Pollock on 14. He's now on strike outside the off stump. Oh, he's gone. He's caught behind. Has he? Well, the umpire says no. Ed Pollock had a resigned look about him, and they were through celebrating. I mean, Hudson Prentice had reached Brooks Guest, the wicket keeper, but the umpire is unmoved.
Yeah, it's so hard to know, isn't it, these days, Adam, because with the greatest respect, a lot of cricketers just go up and they do appear and they do look confident, maybe optimism. So only Derbyshire and Ed Pollock know whether there was anything in that.
Hudson Prentice in again, this time outside the off stump. He has a waft. That's going to be a wide ball, signalled by our umpire. An extra to the total. I just took it more from Pollock's reaction because he bowed his head as if to say, oh. However, he was unmoved.
It did look as though he bowed his head and was then about to walk, didn't it? But he didn't. And the umpire didn't raise his finger. So that's good news for the Bears, because 25 for 4 would have been unattractive.
Hudson Prentice in again. That's going all the way for 6. Pick that up off the legs. It's what he's looking for. Short boundary on that leg side. Second maximum of the innings for the Bears. Second of the innings for Ed Pollock, who moves on to 20, and it's 31 for 3.
I'm not sure Ed Pollock's going to be too popular with the Falcons. I mean, in a couple of overs ago, he's almost bowled and then socks the next one for 6. On this occasion, they think he's got him caught behind, and then he hits the neck ball for 6. So Pollock is riding his luck a little bit at the moment, but that was a great pickup, wasn't it? And just a little bit straying towards the leg side, the bowler. And a little bit of a slower ball as well, when Pollock spotted it and punished it beautifully.
Hudson Prentice in again. Pollock again trying to pull that away on the leg side. This time they put a fielder out and he'll just gather a single. Didn't get anywhere near as much of it this time round. He was a little cramped for room. 32 for 3. Coming towards the end of the 4th over. Well, having a few technical gremlins this evening, you may have noticed on your pictures here on Bears Den TV, but I hope that's not upsetting your enjoyment of the game so far. Not that in these 20 minutes there's been too much enjoyable for you Bears fans. 32 for 3. Run rate's decent. It's only the 4th over. And Matt Lamb is going to face the last ball of the over. And he just lets it go through. It was a short pitch ball. And 4 overs complete. 32 for 3 is the score. 16 overs remaining.
McCurr returning from the Birmingham end.
McCurr will return at the Birmingham end for the Derbyshire Falcons after that terrific opening over. 9 runs from that last over. 32 for 3 now. 5th over. Pollock on 21. Lamb on 1. McCurr in for the Birmingham end. Pollock's got that, all of it, and I'm telling you now, that's almost going to reach the Hollies. Not quite. Too far around the corner, probably. It's a massive 6 from Ed Pollock, and I did see that boundary bloke being moved in earlier when I arrived here, and I think Mark Robinson fancied that might be an Ed Pollock zone over in that corner.
It certainly was. Beautifully clipped off his toes, and McCurr, who just conceded a single off his first 6 balls, has conceded 6 off the first ball of his second over, and that was a great pick-up from Ed Pollock. Now, he started well, 27 from 14 balls. Now, come on, Polly, let's see if you can really build a match-shaping innings here.
We've seen this so many times, the great starts, haven't we? If he can just keep it going for a little longer. McCurr, how will he respond to being carted over the ropes with his first ball of the over? Outside the off stump this time, it's fallen, it's driven over the top of the infield, right over the top of Harry Kame's head, and it's 4 more for Pollock.
Another great shot, half volley. And there's no cover back on the offside, and Pollock comfortably cleared the cover field of 31 to young Ed Pollock. Is a great player to watch, isn't he, Adam? I know that the supporters give him some stick for sometimes getting out cheaply, but the way he plays, it's going to happen, isn't it?
That's what he's there for.
It's a very bold role that he takes on.
10 off the first 2 balls. Cut away for 4 more. Wonderful shot from Pollock all the way to the boundary rope. Finn Hudson-Prentice will collect that one. Just the kind of over the Bears were looking for. They'll get on top here of McCurr, who had that terrific opening over. First 3 balls of this over, 6-4-4.
Yeah, I think Matt Critchley's got his first scratching of the head as captain here, because he's got a deep long leg and a deep mid wicket for the bowler, who is bowling outside the off stump, and Ed Pollock's taken advantage of the last 2 balls with a couple of lovely 4s.
Just reinforce that offside boundary a little more. The 2 boundary riders are out on the square leg boundary, one backward and one forward of square. This one's short on the leg side, that's going to be a wide. Lovely pirouette from Ed Pollock. On to 35 from 16 balls.
We could be into the 2 most contrasting overs in the history of 2020. McCurr's first over, 2 wickets and 1 run. His second over, so far, 6-4-4 wide.
Did I see the other day that our good friend Samit Patel had bowled 4 overs for 4 runs or something ridiculous? Yeah. Almost unheard of in that beating of Worcestershire. That's short outside the off stump, just prodded down for a single. Brings Matt Lamb onto strike. Pollock onto 36.
Yes, our old friends, the Rapids, were on the receiving end of that, weren't they? They weren't bowled out, were they? They got 80-something for 8 from their 20 overs, which is extraordinary. And then,
Trent Bridge as well, with those boundaries.
That's right. And then Notts knocked them off in about 7 overs, didn't they? So an extraordinary game. But yeah, it is almost unbelievable, isn't it, in this day and age, that 4 overs in T20 could only cost 4 runs. You'd think there'd be an edge or a nurdle somewhere.
5th ball of the over from McCurr. Lamb's got a thick outside edge on that. It's gone down to 3rd man. There'll just be a 1 where it's fielded by George Scrimshaw, who I expect we'll see into the attack very soon. 50's up.
50 up for the
50 for 3 in this 5th over.
You Bears!
Really good running, actually. I think, like most of us, you called that as a 1. They actually managed to scamper back for a second, which is excellent effort.
That's extraordinary.
It was almost straight to the field.
It was straight to Scrimshaw. I was too busy watching him and didn't know it was the 2nd run. That's what's got us up to 50. 18 off the first 5 deliveries. The over, that's short. And Lamb's had a go at that, and the umpires let it go. It was a great take by Brooke Guest, one-handed in the air.
Don't forget
the wicket keeper.
This evening
and that's 5 overs gone. 50 for 3. I'm just going to do my maths to work out the run rate. Yep, that's 10 and over.
Well done.
That's not bad, is it?
I was trying to just work it out with pen and paper, but that's about it, I think. And most of that down to Ed Pollock, of course, 36 from 17 balls at the moment. And the Bears have reinforced the innings slightly from 23 for 3. And a lot of work to do still yet, of course, and I'm guessing now Matt Lamb may play the role that Sam Hain would have played, the sort of anchor role, and let 1 or 2 hopefully at the other end blaze away. Matt Lamb playing, of course, because Dan Mosley has a broken finger, sustained in practice yesterday morning, so poor Dan is out for a little while, hopefully not too long, but Lamb certainly a very capable man to come in.
Final over the power play. Logan Van Beek is back for his 3rd. 20 runs off his first 2 overs. Don't forget as well, if you want to get involved on social media, you can do. The hashtag #UBears. You can follow the Bears at Warwickshire County Cricket Club on Twitter and Instagram, and Warwickshire County Cricket Club on Facebook. Here's Van Beek to Pollock. Wide outside the off stump. Going to be a wide. Taken low by Guest, and Pollock was stretching for that, but nowhere near it.
There's a few wides gone down, hasn't there? Derbyshire not quite as disciplined as they would hope to be, but they're still in a good, strong position here. Taking 3 wickets in the first 19 balls really does put you in the box seat. That really means that a bit of retrenchment has to happen, but Ed Pollock doesn't really do retrenchment, does he?
Not at all. Here's Van Beek to Pollock. Lifts it to the leg side, all the way for 6, just about gets over the boundary rope. There's no fielder out there anyway. It's swept away by Ed Pollock. It's another 6. He's on to 42, and the Bears are on to 57.
As far as I could see, that was pretty respectable delivery, wasn't it? Very good length ball, a straight delivery, and just swatted away into the stand for 6. Frustrating for the bowler, I would imagine.
42 off 18. Cruising along is Pollock.
And that's brought in there's now no offside fielder on the boundary. They've reinforced that leg side fence.
Where's Van Beek going to bowl this one? Straight over the top. Is it going all the way for 6? No, that's 1 bounce 4. Carted away. Little bit of slice on it as well off the outside edge of that bat from Ed Pollock, but it's a beautiful hit over the top of the infield. There was a man at mid-off, well over his head though. 61 for 3. You're looking at those fancy dress wearers. What's Minnie Mouse doing now?
Oh, she's in overdrive, as are many. It's a wonderful sight, actually. The Holly stand obviously not packed tonight because of restrictions, but they are very, very colourful, brilliant sight, making loads of noise. And there's something to cheer for at the moment, the way Pollock is batting.
On to 46. Pollock just waits for that one. He dug that one into the pitch, probably a cutter. Just got up quite high, and Pollock waited for it, but then couldn't make contact. And it's a dot ball, which has been a rarity in the last couple of overs for the Derbyshire Falcons. I see there's some nuns there. They're getting into the habit of cricket, it would appear.
Have you been thinking up that one all game? Hiya, Murray. Marie's just joined us at the back of the box to limber up for a commentary spell.
Yeah, you're warming up for Brian, aren't you?
Well, Ed Pollock's certainly warming us up, isn't he? 46 from 20 deliveries.
3 balls remaining in this over. He's just lost in his delivery stride there, Van Beek. And the crowd quite love that, as they do on these occasions.
For anyone who's just joined us, the Bears didn't have a great start. Adam Hose out for 5, Will Rhodes without scoring, Sam Hain, the pivot of so many innings for the Bears in T20, also out for a duck, only his 2nd ever in the blast for the Bears. That was 23 for 3 in the 4th over. It's now 61 for 3, Pollock on 46 and Lamb on 3.
Oh, contribution from Lamb of 3 to this 38-run partnership so far. Van Beek will try again. Full toss, hammered by Pollock. Oh, and he's been caught low down. I think Ed Pollock's just looking at the umpire to say, did he take it cleanly or not? I think he did. And the wonderful innings from Ed Pollock comes to an end. with the score on 46 just inside the power play. And the Bears lose another wicket. They move to 61 for 4 with 2 balls remaining in that power play.
Well, that's a real blow, not just to the Bears in terms of winning the game, but in terms of the entertainment, because the crowd were absolutely loving that. They're rising to Ed Pollock, 46 from 21 deliveries. It was a full toss, and sometimes they can be difficult to get away. And he got it quite high on the bat. It's a good catch, to be fair, at mid-on. And Pollock goes for 46, and Michael Burgess goes out to join Matt Lamb with the Bears 61 for 4.
Saving Carlos for the time being, then, Brian.
That's fair, isn't it? Burgess is a quality player. I mean, he's still got plenty of time to build an innings. You'd like Carlos to come in and hopefully and just blaze away with as little pressure as possible. So I think that's reasonable, isn't it? Because, I mean, these two guys are both capable of batting really well for the next 10 overs and still getting the Bears to a very competitive total.
Been really pleased to see Michael Burgess come into his own with the bat this year so far. And he's on strike to the New Zealander, Van Beek again. Plays that one into the leg side. They'll scamper through for a quick single. Well run. It's fielded quite nicely by Conor McCurr.
Yes, Burgess has enjoyed much his best form with the bat, and also with the gloves he's impressed. He took one leg side stumping in the championship off Ollie Hannon-Dolby, which was a real stunner and evoked comparisons from the Bears fans with Keith Piper. It doesn't get much higher praise than that. So Burgess is having a fine season, and the Bears need something from him tonight.
Matt Lamb just steps away. Any more interesting fancy dress costumes you've clocked, Brian?
I think Santa Claus is over there.
He's a bit early, isn't he?
Or is he late? We don't know.
Oh,
He
yeah.
could have just been from last Christmas.
This is true. Van Beek again. Last ball of the power play. Crashed away on the far side, but plenty of power on it, but straight to the fielder. It's a dot ball, and the first 6 overs come to an end. 62 for 4, so the run rate just over 10 and over. What's worrying is that 4 column for wickets, because invariably when you lose this many, the law of averages are stacked against you, aren't they, Brian? You're our stats man.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely true, because when second half of the innings you lose wickets invariably, don't you, because you are attacking, and if you haven't got so many in the bank, then the tail enders are in and the pressure is on them. I can't see those nuns. They are there, or you just made them up to justify
well, do you know,
your
I
joke?
think I've got there's a few of them sat down. All I can see is their habits, really. I can't see too much more of them. I think we need our binoculars up here today.
I'm not sure. I think you're making this up just because you thought of that cricket habit joke. You've invented some nuns just to justify it. But
maybe a bit psychologically I'm trying to tell myself something about my behaviour, Brian. That might be what it is. Critchley's on with his wrist spin, the captain, and he's gone for a single off his first ball. Sun's coming out. There is a horrid, vile grey cloud above Edgbaston right now, but the sun is peeking through from around the other side of it, and it looks, touch wood, like it's going to move over without a problem. And then we've got fairly blue skies and just a few white puffy clouds coming across. That's a lovely shot from Matt Lamb for 4 through the covers. Really nice. And as you mentioned, these two have got that ability, haven't they, to just rebuild this innings and tick over quite nicely.
And it's a situation that Lammy has faced so many times in his relatively brief career so far, mainly in the championship. He's come in quite a lot when the Bears have been under a bit of pressure, and he often does really react to that situation well. He's got a great temperament.
Critchley's in again. This time he just nurdles that into the leg side. Going to be 1 run. Really nice start to the over here.
Matt Critchley will be delighted. I mean, he is the main man around which Derbyshire base their bowling attack in T20. He'll be delighted to be coming on with 4 Warwickshire wickets already down.
That's just dabbed away nicely by Burgess. Another quick single. Running between the wickets has been good so far tonight. An improvement on some of what we saw at times last season. Now the sun is out properly. Nice shadows cast across, and delightful to see around 6,000 inside the bowl. That short cut away nicely into the boundary, or towards the boundary where it's fielded by Tom Wood, back in the starting lineup tonight, past the late fitness test for Derbyshire. 70 for 4. Last ball of the over from Critchley. Oh, that's a lovely ball, and they're appealing, but the umpire says no. Fairly hopeful, I think, on all levels. They were after stumping, a little feathered edge, but Burgess survived. 7 overs gone, 70 for 4.
I think Critchley just appealed because he was so pleased with the ball. I think that deserves a wicket, that does. But there was no edge, so he doesn't get one, unfortunately. Yeah, the scorecard looking a little bit lopsided at the moment, isn't it? 46 from Ed Pollock, and then Hose 5, Rhodes 0, Hayne 0, Lamb 9 not out, Burgess 3 not out. And it looks like we're now going to have spin from both ends.
Matty McKiernan is entering the fray for the Derbyshire Falcons. And it's McKiernan to get us underway from the pavilion end. And he's driven back to the bowler. Good use of feet that time by Matt Lamb. Or leg spin, well fielded, and they're not going to take a single. Could probably have got away with one. As they say, always dangerous to field on a misfield. Or to run on a misfield, should I say. 13 overs remaining. 70 for 4. A bit of old school Bears today. They're going to have to obviously try and defend whatever total they put out. At this moment in time, I think that's settled for something around the 170, 180 mark. It'll take a bit of going to get there with the loss of wickets they've had, but again, if these two can just build, and with Carlos to come, McKiernan again. 4th ball of the over. Turned into the leg side. Just going to be 1. Ticking the scoreboard over. Burgess onto 4.
Yes, this is the sort of situation, isn't it, where you look at Carlos Brathwaite and say, yeah, this is perhaps a night for you, and with what he can do in a short space of time, and there's pressure there. We're looking to him for that, but then he's done it before.
A short cut away. It's not quite going to get to the boundary. Pick out the fielder again. Just be another single. Lamb onto 11.
But somebody has got to play quite a significant innings, haven't they, Adam? I mean,
they're going to get around that kind of figure, aren't they?
170, 180, I think, is decent, isn't it? But
yep.
Someone's got to go quite big to get there.
Looks a decent wicket. I was talking to Trotty before the game. He said they were disappointed to lose the toss because it does look a good surface and they fancied chasing tonight. But that's the end of the over. 8 overs gone. 75 or 74 for 4. Burgess onto 5 and Lamb onto 11.
Yes, I did bump into Trotty just before the game, and all the students in the crowd were making some noise, and it was a great atmosphere there. And he was musing whether we might get a streaker at some stage this evening. And I said, well, Trotty, mate, you can always oblige if you like, if you think that would improve the spectacle, but he didn't seem keen.
Second over from Critchley. He's swept to the boundary on the leg side. Just going to be 1.
On that note, Adam, I'll leave you, let Marie come in.
You're leaving me with a streaker and then bringing Marie on.
And
excellent there, Brian.
Over to her to supervise the rest of the Bears' recovery.
In he comes again. He's gone over the top there. It's not quite going to reach the fielder. It's just going to go for 1. And then that coming back for a second. They did run on a misfield. Someone athletics arrived in the box. Look, with training gear on and everything.
Yeah, I've literally just dashed over here from Portland Road. Had a bit of a shower over there as well. That grey cloud you were talking about earlier, I think we've just had that at Portland Road.
When you were training?
Yeah, when we were training. But it's all right, any light. But yeah, I couldn't believe the crowd when I came in. The noise, you could hear it from outside the stadium. It's great.
They're all very young when you're walking around the concourse.
Yeah,
There's
very young.
Lots of queues for beer.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
I've seen a few ketchups and salt and peppers flying around as well, so that's quite interesting.
Just to prove to me you can see the nuns, because Brian's adamant there are no nuns. Oh, that's a cracking shot. That's Matt Lamb. He's picked that one up off a decent length and has just swept that into the leg side boundary all the way for 6 for Matt Lamb, getting in on the act. Ed Pollock started it, and now Matt Lamb has launched that one deep into the stand.
Yeah, I think I cursed Ed Pollock. He got out as soon as I arrived. Bit of a shame to see, but good to see that he carried on being attacking whilst wickets were falling around him. I think he's clear on his role now, isn't he? And he's done that well tonight.
And is there a point, and you'll know this from your captaining of obviously of the the women's team. Is there a point where you do need to rein it in, even if you are a player like Ed, when you are in that kind of scenario?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the individual and how comfortable they feel. If he feels confident that he can still get away with those shots and he can still score, then he can do it. I think you know yourself. I think these two here, Michael and Lammy, I think will have a great partnership here, and just kind of they'll play their role a little bit better here too. It just depends on the person in strike and the strength and depth you've got coming in the order. I think when they know they've got Carlos coming in later on, then they can probably afford to keep that run rate ticking over and wait for him to come in and hopefully bash a few around towards the end.
And obviously you're training with the Sparks, who are playing here on Saturday.
Yeah, we
Double
are.
header.
Yeah, I think it's made me even more excited for it, seeing everyone in tonight. Should be great.
2 balls left in the over, 85 for 4. Just played out into the offside by Matt Lamb. He's on to 22.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a double header. We had a couple here for the Bears a few years ago. But obviously this time it'll be with Central Sparks.
And everything going well?
Yeah, training's going well. Yeah, everyone's in a great place. We've beaten the Vipers twice now, last 2 games, so we're feeling confident and hoping to make it 3 out of 3.
End of the over. That's 9 overs gone, 86 for 4. Don't forget you can keep sending in your photos from Edgbaston and from home. We've had some great ones coming already. You can do this by using the hashtag #UBears on Twitter or via the Edgbaston app, which is free to download on iOS or Android as well. We love to see what you're up to on Bears Den TV. We're going to see a change in the bowling from this pavilion end. George Scrimshaw is coming on to bowl. 9 overs, so almost
Bowling
at the halfway mark.
Number 9, George
From this point,
Scrimshaw.
do you think 180 is A, gettable, or should they be aiming a little higher than that?
Yeah, like you said earlier, I think they might just need one person to see this through, and then let others go around him. Whether that's Michael or Lammy, we're yet to see.
Lammy's cracked that one. Oh, he's gone.
What a catch.
It's a terrific catch. First ball. That's the 3rd player in the Derbyshire Falcons side who've come on and taken a wicket with their first ball. This time it is George Scrimshaw. It's his 11th of the competition. And Matt Lamb, talk about dejected. He absolutely cracked that, but straight to the fielder. It's a really good catch. He's gone for 22, and it's 86 for 5.
It's not what the Bears needed right now, as we were just talking about building a partnership back up. These two started to look quite settled there, starting to expand the rate a little bit more. Now Burgess will have to kind of dig in a little bit here and hopefully see it through.
Well, here comes the main man. I think they're probably all quite happy to see him. 6,000 in, the first opportunity at home to see Carlos Brathwaite. I think even the nuns. Tell me you can see nuns over there.
Oh, I can see the nuns.
Thank God. I've started to think I was imagining it and my conscience was starting to take over.
I can confirm. 3 or 4 nuns over there.
What else we've got lurking around?
There's lifeguards going on.
Oh, yeah, no, I can see there's some traffic cones down to the left-hand side.
That's what you love to see, isn't it? Holly's full.
I did feel a bit guilty on Friday because a group of them arrived all in fancy dress, only to be told 5 minutes later the game was off, which was a little bit. They were the only ones inside the ground who clearly thought, despite the fact it had been raining all day, that we were going to see some cricket on Friday. But
yeah, I'm not sure they all know what's going on, but they're having a great time.
Scrimshaw's in, and he bowls to Brathwaite, who just drops that into the offside. He thought about a single. I don't think he was serious then. Absolutely no chance of getting that, and it's a dot ball.
Yeah, Carlos just showing some intent there, looked to score early.
Have you seen much of Carlos this season?
A little bit. We've had a few chats in the gym. Seen him working hard in the gym. We spoke about isolation and things when he came over too. But it's just great to see him on the pitch, isn't it? And doing well for the Bears.
I think he's really integrated himself into the club as well.
Yeah, he does. He seems to have really adopted kind of the way of the Bears, and he's starting to put that on the pitch as well.
Well, he's facing Scrimshaw here. Cut away, just going to be a single. And a bit of bounce in this wicket for Scrimshaw.
Had that lovely diving catch last week, didn't he, last game?
He did.
Absolutely flew. He's a big guy, but he managed to get down. Some great hands as well.
Midway through the 10th over, 87 for 5. Scrimshaw, economy rates under 8 so far this season for the Derbyshire Falcons, and as I mentioned earlier, they are 8th in the table, so not had the best of campaigns, but he seems to be delivering, and that's straight down the wicket from Burgess for 4. Well, there seems to be no change in the plan. Nice shot from Michael Burgess. He's into double figures onto 10.
Yeah, it's so important in this kind of scenario to still back his strengths, and he knows that if that option's on, to still go for it and confident.
Obviously, we've got the 100 coming up as well. You're looking forward to that?
I know, that's so soon, isn't it?
3 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I had one of my friends sent me the match attack cards that they've got now, and I'm on one of those, so I feel like I've made it now. It's pretty cool. Might have to go buy a pack.
Here is Scrimshaw. Short, tucked into the leg side by Burgess, just for one.
Looking for
Brathwaite,
two.
yeah, Brathwaite was fancying that, wasn't he? But I think Michael Burgess had no intention of scampering back for a second.
Yeah, that's great. Just showing the intent to run two just puts the fielders on edge a little bit more, and then you can always turn it down afterwards.
92 for 5. So we've still obviously got Bresnan and Briggs, who mugs with the bat to come. But it really is down to these two now to probably bat at least for the next 6 or 7 overs, you would think. Scrimshaw's in. Brathwaite's just dropped that into the offside, and they've scampered through for a good single. Must be frustrating as a bowler when that happens, because it wasn't a bad ball, but then what, the ball's travelled no more than 4 feet away from the stumps?
Yeah, definitely, and that's where, from a batting point of view, just trying to score a running ball doesn't have to be a big attacking shot. It can just be to get yourself in, just get yourself off the mark. And just annoy, like you say, annoy the bowler with what's been a good ball. He's still scoring off it.
Halfway mark then, 93 for 5. And remember, the Bears Pod Blast is back for a 4th series with BBC WM. It's available to download now on BBC Sounds, iTunes and Spotify. The latest episode is with Jake Lintott joining BBC WM's Richard Wilford and Bears fast bowler Ollie Hannon-Dolby. And in the coming days, there's one coming with the Bears all-rounder Carlos Brathwaite as well. Start of the next over. McKiernan's in again. I'll take a quick single. Strange to have 2 leg spinners, wrist spinners, isn't it?
Yeah, I think ball turning away from the bat is becoming really key, isn't it, in T20 cricket? Everybody's looking for that option in their side, so it's great that they've got 2.
McKiernan's in again. Into the leg side. Just going to be 1 for Burgess. These 2 just happy to nurdle it round. 95 for 5. Burgess is on 12.
Just need to keep a few wickets in hand here for the last 5 or 6 overs.
Brathwaite just tries to sweep that one. If he actually got any contact at all. And no, it's a leg bite. It's another single to the total, 96 for 5. Singing started from the Hollies already.
You can hear it from the car park, it's impressive.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
It's amazing the noise that 6,000 can make, isn't it?
I know.
Burgess fetches that, sweeps it. He didn't quite probably get it as tidily as he would have liked, because he's only going to get a single, but wasn't far away from dissecting the 2 fielders on the leg side.
Out of those 6,000, how many do you reckon are university students?
I'm told about half, so that's huge from oh no, Brathwaite's gone here. Oh. It was short, he pulled it, and he's picked out the man deep mid wicket, straight down his throat, and Carlos Brathwaite is gone. And at this point, with the score on 97 for 6, Tim Bresnan will come to the crease. And now maybe is the point that you reevaluate what is a realistic target.
I think this is the point, like when you just said there, just maybe rein it in for a little bit. 6 wickets down at this stage is not ideal, so just try and get through the next couple of overs, keep rotating, and then reassess, see where we're at for the last 5.
Well, one thing that we can't do is not bat out the 20 overs, of course. That would be criminal. At this point, how much impact does the coach and the captain have on the tactics, or is it just very much that have said to Brezzy when he went out?
Yeah, I feel with a player like Brezzy, he knows he's had enough experience in the game, hasn't he? He knows how to play this situation. I'm sure coaches will reinforce that message, but I'm sure he knows exactly how to go about his innings here.
Brezzy just turns that back to the bowler, wearing number 3. It's the end of the over. 1 for 7 from 2 overs from McKiernan so far. 97 for 6 then.
That'll be quite interesting in the 100, the new timeout system. Where you can have coaches come onto the pitch and whether we want their advice.
Have you started talking about that yet? Or with it being 3 weeks out, is it not something that you've...
Yeah, we've had a few practice games. So the Rachel Hayhoe-Flynn 50 over tournament finished a few weeks ago, and then we're moving to the T20.
You did very well in that too.
Yeah, 3 out of 4, so we've started well. Everyone's looking great. So we've had in that time off, we've had a few 100 warm-up games. Just trying to get to grips with all the rules and these new additions that we're not quite used to yet.
And this person who's going to potentially bowl a 10 ball over.
Yes, we've done that quite a bit, and I don't think there's any limit on doing that. So we have kind of experimented with that, whether it's seamers, changing ends, just keeping a spinner on. And it's been quite interesting. It's quite fun actually bowling the bowling the den balls.
Rory Kelly with us here on Bears Den TV for the game against Derbyshire Falcons. 98 for 6 the score. Critchley none for 21. He's in his third over.
You can see he's trying to rush through his over here as well.
Bresnan on strike. Again, that's another part of it that's quite key, isn't it? When you have got a side in the position they're in, just trying to get through your overs quickly, and all of a sudden another one's gone before Bresnan has really had a chance to settle. Yeah,
definitely. He's really getting through his overs here as soon as he gets the ball back.
Well, that's going to be tight, isn't it? No, Burgess has got their throw, wasn't great.
And again, it depends on the team you've got. Sometimes you know when you're on top you like to rush it, but other times you can just take your time, just think about what you're doing. But with the spinner on as well, especially leg spin, just get through the overs.
Which is in again. Oh, it's outside of the bat from Burgess. Just fell short of the fielder at backward point. Almost into the hands of Harry Kame.
Slightly uppish there on the drive.
99 for 6. Almost at the 3 figures, and they will be now in this 12th over, at the end of the 12th over in fact. 100 for 6. Burgess is on to 15. Bresnan's off the mark with 1. And at this point you can get on the Edgbaston app and join the poll to vote for what you think the Bears' score will be. Simply scroll down from the home tab and click on the Cast Your Vote banner to enter.
What do you reckon then?
Well, I was quite hopeful when I was at 180. I think if we can get to 165 now.
I think they'll be happy with that.
Not what they wanted at the start, for sure, but playing the situation.
Looks like they're bowling well as well.
Yeah.
Tight lines.
Well, as a captain in this scenario, are you pretty helpless when you're batting and you're on the sidelines? There's nothing you can really do, is there?
No, the only thing you can do is obviously sit with the players coming in.
That's a big shot. 6 runs. Short ball. Burgess pulls it away on the leg side. He's on to 21. That's better. The Bears on to 106 for 6.
Yeah, the only thing you can do is just talk to the players who are waiting to go into bat. Depending on how long you've been out there, if you've only been out there a couple of balls, you can't offer too much advice. But if you've had fairly decent innings, you can kind of talk to them about the pitch, about certain bowlers, and just offer any little nuggets that might help.
Yeah, fair to say Will didn't last very long today, so Burgess has swept that one. He'll grab a single in the sunshine at Edgbaston. That's another one to the total. Burgess on to 22, 107 for 6. You're staying with us till the last 10 overs, aren't you? And then Paul Smith's going to take, well, you know, the insight's been great so far.
It's good viewing from up here as well. It's nice.
It's McKinnon again. And Bresnan's got that away. It's not quite going to reach the boundary, is it? Yes, it is. The diving stop wasn't quite enough. And he's found the ropes, Tim Bresnan. All that experience coming into play.
That's perfect cricket for this scenario. Sort of low risk, high reward option. Doesn't have to do too much there, just putting the over pitch ball away there, all along the floor.
So again, for the next 3 or 4 overs, you're thinking, look, if we could get a boundary every over and run 3 or 4 singles, that's actually going to get us into a decent position to attack in the final few overs.
Definitely, just exactly like you just did there. Pick a gap along the floor. You can be safe. Don't need to do anything high risk yet. Wait a few more overs for that to come in. Might see some bigger shots then. He's nearly got through again there, but stopped at extra cover.
Yes, it was well fielded in this instance by Matthew Critchley, the captain. McKinnon's got 1 ball left of his third over, 1 for 18 so far. 1 for 6. Bresnan on strike, sweeps that towards the boundary for 4. Got it fine enough. Excellent shot from Tim Bresnan. He moves on to 9. The Bears on to 115 for 6.
That's great batting. Another low risk option there. Swept on line and put it away nicely. It's good batting from Bresnan.
It really was. And Burgess is on 22. Bresnan on 9. 115 for 6. And we've got 7 overs remaining. Maybe I was being a bit harsh with 165.
No, all depends on those wickets in hand, doesn't it? Just need some form of partnership here. A wicket changes everything.
Scrimshaw's on to bowl again. Seven runs off his first over and a wicket, of course, with his first ball last time. He's into Burgess, who's tried to pull that round. He's just caught the toe end of the bat, and it's gone through to the wicket keeper, and there's no run.
How's the wicket played at the start? Is it a little bit slow?
No, it wasn't too bad actually. There was a couple that just lifted off a length that you weren't really expecting. It just got up on Ed Pollock a couple of times. But then we did have that shower at 5:30, and the covers were on for about half an hour probably. So maybe there was a little bit of moisture.
Just seems a few of them kind of threw their shots a little bit early. Not sure if it's just holding up a little bit. We've had a few catches as well.
Scrimshaw just turns that one on the leg side, Burgess. There's just going to be one. I think Bresnan was feinting to look for a second. 117 for 6, or 116 for 6, should I say? That scoreboard's already been updated.
Pollock didn't make it look like it was a slow wicket.
Not in the slightest. I mean, there was a couple that he. Well, there's one they were adamant they had him caught behind, but the umpire was unmoved.
Well, I wasn't sure that his catcher carried. I didn't think the fielder had got it, but
there were a couple of interesting decisions. Sam Hain didn't think he'd hit it as well. He delayed his movement when he was out for naught. I think Brian reliably told me that's only the second time he's got a duck in T20 cricket as well.
Oh wow, it's not a bad stat, that, is it?
No, he's been in such terrific form this year, of course, averaging prior to today over 71 in the competition. Really come into his own.
Yeah, they've started well, haven't they?
Very much so. It looks like a tight group it's going to be this year, though. There's a fair few teams. There's 3 points separating the 5 sides at the head of the table. Yorkshire leading the way, Lancashire in 5th, and everyone else gathering in between. That's a beautiful shot, cut away for 4. That's really nice. Really nice from Michael Burgess. Just seems to have, I'm not going to say the word matured because that feels a little bit harsh, but last season it just wasn't quite working with the bat. But in both forms of the game so far this campaign, he's been exceptional.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe he's just kind of settled into being at Warwickshire, being part of the Bears. Maybe tried not to search for some runs and just relax. Maybe enjoy his cricket. That was a lovely late cut there. Looked like a slow ball as well. He's waited for it lovely.
Scrimshaw is in again. Short, pulled away. And that's just going to be a single. Well played by Michael Burgess. He's on to 28 from 22 balls. Bresnan on 9. 121 for 6. Steady progress. 122 for 6, should I say.
Yeah, key partnership here, I think. So he set up the last couple of overs. We can start to look to take high risk and score as many boundaries as possible.
6 off the over so far. Another boundary wouldn't go amiss here, that's for sure. Scrimshaw's in, down the leg side. It's going to be given as a wide. Another one to the total. 1, 2, 3 for 6.
The longer they're out there as well, the more Derbyshire will start to search for wickets. You start to get some more bad balls.
I think there's some crayons at the top of the hollies. I'm not sure. They look like crayons from where I'm standing.
There's got to be. It's one of the easy. Oh yeah, I can see them.
There's a blue, a green, and a red, isn't there? Yeah.
Surely a banana as well.
There's got to be a banana somewhere.
I can see a few hot dogs as well.
Scrimshaw again. Is there?
Yeah. Above the lifeguards, about 6 rows up above the lifeguards.
Oh yes, there are a few. It's a wonderful atmosphere. 6 overs to go. 123 for 6.
That dark cloud has gone now, so Edgbaston looking beautiful.
It is.
Hopefully the same on Saturday.
Yeah, I've seen the forecast, but it can all change between now and then.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Ed Pollock, leading scorer, of course. 46 runs he made before he was out. We're going to see the introduction of Lewis Rees from the far end. Certainly sharing the overs around.
Doing what they can here to get a wicket, something to break up the partnership.
Oh yeah, they've taken both the spinners off now. First over from Rees.
Are those spinners bowled out? What do you think they're saving?
No, they've still got, I think McKinnon's only bowled 3. And Critchley's only bowled 3 as well. It's a dreadful full toss, I think, from outside the off stump. And I think Burgess is going to be a bit frustrated he didn't get more out of that.
Dot ball in the book, isn't it?
It's all that matters.
All that counts.
How's your own batting going? All right, you feel?
Yeah, okay. I haven't had much rhythm lately.
And he comes, left arm. I wouldn't say he's a dobber, but there doesn't seem to be too much pace on that, whether that's deliberate or not. But the wicketkeeper's standing up, so just taking the pace off here.
Yeah, I presume with that full toss, it's probably an attempted Yorker. Probably going for lots of variations here, just keep the batsman guessing. But yeah, I rolled my ankle in pre-season, then contracted gastroenteritis, and then had a bad back last week. So I've been struggling to get a little bit of just momentum, a little bit of rhythm. But I'm hoping with the T20s they'll come thick and fast. Hopefully that'll help pick it up.
It's outside the off stump, single into the outfield. Burgess on 29, Bresnan on 10, 125 for 6.
It's great. The lads have had, for the last 2 weeks, been really busy on the road, haven't they? And that, I think that helps quite a bit. You get, when you have lots of matches coming thick and fast, you get into some good form and some rhythm.
Outside the off stump, and it's hammered into the ground by Burgess. Finding it quite challenging to get Lewis Rees away here. Just 2 off the opening 4 deliveries of this, the 15th over.
Again, Rees running back to his mark, trying to rush the batters, trying to get through his overs quickly.
125 for 6. Oh, it's a switch hit from Burgess. It's brilliant. Is it going to go all the way to the ropes? It is for 4. That's terrific from Michael Burgess. Not much pace on the ball. He had time to switch those hands. Premeditated shot, and it brings him 4 runs.
That's a great shot. Just puts Rees on edge now. Wonder what will come next.
It's on to 33. Turns this into a useful over. They've already had a 32 as a pair. Brathwaite was out when the score was 97. This one's down the ground from Burgess. He's hammered that. They're going to churn for 2, surely. No, they're not going to take one on the arm.
It's well fielded.
So just a single. Very well fielded. And the score's on to 130 for 6 with 5 overs remaining. Burgess on 34 and Bresnan on 10. Yeah, you're in the right place, Paul, don't worry. We'll do this next over and then we're back with you, yeah?
Yeah.
130 for 6, so current run rate's what, 8.7, 5 overs remaining. And it's driven back down the ground by Burgess. Just picked the fielder out though, he's run well to gather that, and it's a single.
I think we'll see them start to pick it up now, start to take a few more high risk like that reverse sweep. Hopefully get a few more runs on the board, get up to that 170, 180 hopefully.
The voice of Marie Kelly alongside here at Bears Den TV. Paul Smith, Warwickshire legend, will be coming in to join us after this over. So Marie can finish her. Is that hot chocolate coffee? What are we on?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Needed
after a hard day's training,
yeah.
Need the caffeine.
Always.
I thought you'd be bounding in with your energy drinks and all that, but it's just caffeine.
No, many coffees a day required.
132 for 6. I think the last time I saw you was at the last awards dinner. I expect there was many coffees required the next day once you ladies went out on the town.
So.
Yeah.
That was a good night. We missed out on it this year
because
of COVID, but we'll have to make up for it next year. I'm sure we will.
132 for 6.
I actually offered to get around in for all the girls as we hammered Worcestershire this year. I said if we beat them by 100 runs, drinks on me, and we absolutely battered them. So.
What an incentive, eh? Is that all that's required?
Well, I felt that it was just teetering off, the game was, and I didn't want us to just win by 20 runs or something. I wanted us to absolutely hammer them, so I thought I'd give them a bit of an incentive, and maybe alcohol seems to be the trick.
That's proper captaincy, that, as far as I'm concerned. That's a huge hit from Bresnan. There's 4 more. He's on to 15. Lovely use of the feet. Coming down the wicket, 137 for 6. I think these two have decided it's time to go, haven't they?
Yeah, look, and that's exactly what we're talking about. They kind of just held back a little bit in the middle overs, got themselves in, and now it's the time. 5 overs left. They're going to start to up the rate.
Once again, Critchley.
Well bowled.
Very nicely.
He's bowled very well, Critchley, hasn't he?
He did. That's the end of the over. Marie's going to leave us, but you'll be back for the start of the second innings.
If you have me back.
That's absolutely right. You enjoy the coffee, and Paul Smith's going to come in and join us here. And we'll have the poll results for you via the app shortly. If you have taken part with your guess as to how many they're going to end up at, 137 for 6. I know Marie didn't actually make a firm suggestion of what they might end up with. Just put me in the spot on that one. 4 overs to go. I think anything up around 180 now would be fairly decent. Paul Smith, welcome.
How are you?
I'm good, you?
I'm all right, man. Glad to be watching some cricket.
It's nice, isn't it? Great to be here when the sun's out.
Sure.
They make a lot of noise, these 6,000 people, don't they?
They have. I mean, this is a great ground for atmosphere, as everyone knows. So, yeah, it's a vibrant atmosphere, isn't it?
137 for 6, 4 overs to go. And into bowl is Hudson Prentice, and just going to be a single. Well driven that time by Michael Burgess, who's on to 37. from 31 deliveries. Tim Bresnan on 15 from 13. What do you think? Something around 180 would be?
180, 190 would be nice.
Recovered well after those loss of wickets, haven't they?
Early on, yeah.
41, the partnership between these two right now. In comes Hudson Prentice again from that Birmingham end. Now Bresnan might be lucky here because he's not properly timed that, but he's only going to get one. I thought they might be able to head back for a second.
They're quick, the fielders, aren't they?
They are. Boundary ropes are in as well, of course. I bet they never pulled them in like this in your day.
They didn't, no. The ground was considerably bigger, trust me. So any time you get caught at long on and long off in my day and used to get shouted at, now you'd be applauded. Fantastic.
139 for 6.
Shot.
Burgess, that's a lovely shot. And that's going to be 4 runs. That's terrific.
Fine shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, through the offside. No stopping that. Burgess playing nicely.
Yeah. If they can sneak up to 190, it's a winning total. Bears have got a young side, haven't they? They're full of enthusiasm. They have a lot to learn. But, you know, they'll enjoy their wins. What, they won 4 out of 6 so far?
Yeah, they have, yeah, 4 out of 7.
Mainly on the road as well, which is not easy.
It's almost, I think it's almost done them a favour having that group of games away from here while the test match was on, of course.
Sometimes it...
Big swipe from Burgess, no contact.
Sometimes if you play a series of games away from home, it can helps you gel as a group of people. Gives you more time together, certainly in the evenings. You know, and you can sort of keep pushing. They've got good people here at Edgbaston in charge, so, you know, you got to keep them keen. I always say to Graham Welsh, keep them keen.
143 for 6. Burgess on 41. Breston's on 16. Burgess, that's up in the air.
Ooh, it's a good catch.
Keeper's gone for it and has done really well. That was up for a while. Over his shoulder, though, Brooke Guest. He's taken that nicely. And Burgess goes with a score of 41 on the board for him. And the Bears 143 for 7.
For 41.
Yeah. Bears could have done without that, obviously. Who will come in now?
Danny Briggs, I think, will enter the fray now.
Okay.
He's a decent batsman.
Yeah.
They do bat deep.
They do bat deep. And you need to bat deep in these games because obviously they're short. Well, you need to bat deep in any game, but particularly in a shortened game where wickets can go bang, bang, bang.
I think what's encouraging for in previous seasons, if the Bears had got into the kind of trouble they were in at 97 for 5, we'd have probably limped our way to about the score we're on now. Yeah, here we are with 3 overs to go, still with an opportunity to post a really defendable total.
For sure. You know, it does take time. You know, people often talk about... Let's see what's happening here.
It's going to be Bresnan to face. Full toss, carved away for 4. Excellent from Tim Bresnan. Really took advantage of that full toss from Hudson Prentice. 147 for 7 then with 3 overs remaining.
I think the key to it is when you've got a young squad of players like this, it takes time. So, you know, people remember glory eras, you know, whether it be Liverpool with football, Man United with football, nothing lasts forever. So the great times that we've had here over the... People quite often overlook how hard we had to work and how long it took to sort of reach those sort of heights. So you learn from every game.
From the pavilion end, number 9, George Scrimshaw.
Going to be Scrimshaw at this pavilion end. 1 for 14.
He's got a bit of pace, this lad.
He's been doing very well this year. 11 wickets so far in the campaign. I think anything under 8 is deemed a decent economy rate in this form of the game. We were discussing Samit Patel's performance early on in the week where he took 4 overs for 4 runs, which is quite extraordinary. They're going to get 1 here. Oh, they're going for a second. There was Danny Briggs, I think, was quite adamant he was having 2 there. And he forced Tim Bresnan to make that run. It's a well-run 2 from Danny Briggs. He's off the mark.
Samit Patel is tailor-made for this sort of cricket, don't you think? Yeah,
very much so. Very much so. It's they're just astonishing bowling figures in this format of the game, aren't they? 149 for 7. That's short, and they've appealed for it, and the umpire's given it. He's gone. Danny Briggs is out. A judge to have edged that through to keeper Brooks Guest, and another one down for the Bears. Briggs has gone, with the score on 149.
Off the bowling of George Scrimshaw.
2 runs on the board. That's sharply run 2, and he's on his way. So now, all of a sudden, that 165, 170 figure is probably looming in view with, what have we got, 16 balls remaining.
Well, they've got to make sure they bat them all, haven't they?
And Bresnan will probably have to gather the troops here. He's been joined at the crease by Liam Norwell. There's number 10, who enters the fray. And Scrimshaw with another wicket, his 12th of the campaign.
Birmingham Bears, Liam Norwell.
And it will be Norwell who will take strike to Scrimshaw. 149 for 8 of 17.2 overs. In the sunshine at Edgbaston. What a beautiful evening. No better place to be when the sun is shining. First ball, Norwell's turned that one round the corner. Is he going to be out? He is, he's gone first ball. Scrimshaw strikes again. It's 2 in 2 for the Falcons. Comfortably taken. A deep square leg. And now, as Norwell departs, Craig Miles will enter the fray to join Tim Bresnan. They have changed ends as they crossed while that ball was in the air. But the pressure on to see out these last 15 deliveries now. 149 for 9.
The Birmingham Bears, Craig Miles.
He's got a bat for Bresnan, hasn't he?
Yep, very simple. Bresnan will have to just shepherd the ball around. I mean, he's no mug with a bat in his hand, but they really just need to see out these last 15 balls here. Craig Miles is in. Scrimshaw's got his 3rd of the night, 3 for 16. 3 balls remaining in his 3rd over, so I suspect he'll be bowling the last over of the evening as well from this pavilion end. All eyes now on Tim Bresnan. Scrimshaw's in once more, and he's taken a swipe at that as it's short outside the off stump. There's no run.
He's bowled well for his captain, hasn't he, this lad?
He certainly has. Decent form. Wearing the number 9 for the Falcons. Only managed 2 victories so far. It's not that different to the crop of players that were here on finals day in 2019, though. Rafi Rampal, probably the one who's really missing with his guile in this form of the game. Scrimshaw in again to Bresnan, who's going to need a single at some point. And again, he swings at it, no contact, and there's no run. I'll take a single off this last ball. Maria's just pointed out I may be close with 165. And there I was thinking I was being a bit harsh on the boys.
There's me being ambitious of 180, 190. But
there's nothing wrong with a bit of ambition, Paul. McCurr is going to be warming up, I think, to bowl the next over up the far end. They'll get the single that Bresnan wants. It brings the 150 up at the end of the 18th over. 150 for 9. Bresnan's on 21. He keeps the strike with Miles alongside him. Next up, of course, we're here on Saturday against Durham. It's a 2:30 start, followed by the Central Sparks against the Southern Vipers. I don't like the sound of them Vipers, really. The game is now sold out. There are still tickets available, though, for the following home game against the Yorkshire Vikings on Wednesday, the 30th of June. Only a very limited number of tickets remain for this game, so do log on to tickets.edgbaston.com to secure the advance price of £19 for adults. Under 16s, of course, are free at all times. Due to COVID guidelines, Bears members and season pass holders, please do remember you need to log on to your online accounts to claim your complimentary tickets. 12 balls remaining. I mean, if we get to 162, run a ball, we'd take that, wouldn't we, from here?
From here we would, yeah. You know, I think if you set your stall at a run a ball, hopefully you'll pick up a couple of 4s or something.
Bresnan on strike then. McCurr, the bowler, he's already got 2 for 19, and he's into Tim Bresnan, who drives that one through the covers. He's only going to get a single, is he? No, Miles wanted to come back for the second, but I think wisely Tim Bresnan sent it back. Only ever really a single there, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, whether you actually take a single there or whether you keep the main batter on strike. I think you take what you can. I'd rather there was 1 ball left than 5.
Well, we've certainly seen them defend 151 and the like before. Here, I think it was a different style of side back then who always back themselves to defend a total over 150. Here's Miles, and it's through to Guest, and there's a half-hearted appeal from the wicket-keeper. But nothing doing from our umpire. Well, 65% of voters thought that it was going to be between 151 and 175. So that's pretty decent for those. They're in the right ballpark, for sure. He's in again. Turn around the corner. Just going to be a single, but it's enough to get Bresnan back on strike for Craig Miles.
Number 11's got the hook out.
Nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, absolutely.
Sometimes it's the only way. Guest has done well. He's taken 3 catches behind the stumps in this game. Pollock, of course, top scoring with 46, 41 from Burgess, and Bresnan now alongside Lamb, having notched up 22 for the Bears. 9 to go. 152.49. He's in, and Bresnan's cut that away. It's going to go all the way to the ropes. It's not quite going to get there. He wants a second, but again, just going to be a single. Cannot put Miles on strike.
It's well fielded.
153.49. We've got 8 balls remaining. And
Think about it. Whatever Warwickshire have got on the board, Derby have got to get him.
They have. McCurr's in and bowls, and he struck Miles, and they'll get a leg by. Too busy appealing there was McCurr. Umpire not interested. They all count as the score moves on to 154 for 9. We have a mere 7 balls remaining of this innings. Pretty good judge to get it somewhere between 150 and 175. The Holly stand is a buzz. Bresnan faces, goes big, goes long. Has he got all of it? He has. It's a massive 6 from Tim Bresnan.
Fantastic shot.
He won't have the strike at the start of the next over, but the Bears are up to 160 at the end of the 19th. Bresnan, terrific shot, moves on to 29. Great acquisition, isn't he, Paul? Just with his guile, his ability with the ball, but also this opportunity he brings with the bat.
He's a fantastic cricketer. You know, he can bat, he can bowl, he can not only get runs and wickets, but he's almost like a security blanket around young players. He can pass on a huge amount. Thing about Tim, performed when it matters, and obviously that's key.
Yeah, it was a very, very shrewd acquisition for last season, of course, which obviously got a little curtailed with COVID, etc. But his performances in the Championship and again in T20 already this campaign proving his worth. That's a quick single. 161 gets Bresnan back on strike. Miles is on to 2, and we have 5 balls of the innings remaining. And it's going to be once more Scrimshaw.
Do with a couple of maximums.
Well, he's got the power, hasn't he? There's no doubt about that. They can get above 170. I know it's a big ask, 9 more runs off these 5 balls, but Bresnan's caught the outside of that, and they're not going to run here. Just bounces to the right of wicket-keeper Guest, and there's no run. 4 to come. Bears Den TV, 161 for 9. Adam Bridge alongside Paul Smith right now to see us through to the end of this Bears innings. And it's going to be Scrimshaw once more. 3rd ball of this final over. 2 men deep on the boundary on the leg side. It's short. It's cut away, top edged. Just going to be the one for Tim Bresnan. 162 for 9. Bresnan's on to 30 from just 22 balls.
There's good pace and carry in this wicket.
There is. That's been from the start.
I think the Warwickshire players and bowlers will be looking forward to bowling this. Hopefully.
It's the voice of Paul Smith, of course. Helped Warwickshire to gather so many of those trophies. 3 one-day trophies, of course, in his time. And that's missed by Miles. And it's a dot ball. Scrimshaw adds one of those to his list. 3 for 19 he's got off his 3.4 overs. 2 to come. Miles on 2. Just needs to get something on this to allow Bresnan to face that final ball. In fact, you'd probably argue they should run even if they miss it and get through to the keeper.
I think so. You do well for the keeper to hit the stumps.
Just to get Bresnan on strike for the last ball if they can. Here is Scrimshaw. Miles gets something on it and they will get that single. Moves the score to 163 for 9 and allows Tim Bresnan to face the final ball of the innings. He's just got to do one thing here, isn't he, Paul?
Connect. I think the key is here, you've just got to make sure you connect. There's gaps.
He's got the short boundary on the offside, but the way Scrimshaw's dropping the ball in, is he thinking maybe something leg side? I mean, it's not the longest boundary leg side either, is it?
No fine leg. Oh yes, there is.
We'll see how he bowls this. It's short. Bresnan tries to carve it round the corner for 4, and he does it brilliantly. Superb shot from Tim Bresnan to finish the innings. He ends up 34 not out, Bresnan, and he sees the Bears through to 167 for 9 at the end of their 20 overs. Bresnan finishing on 34 from 24 deliveries. Craig Miles 2 not out, so it's going to be a target of 168 for the Derbyshire Falcons. We'll just run you through the card. Ed Pollock was top scorer with 46. He was out, caught Critchley, bowled Van Beek. Hose caught McKiernan, bowled McCurr for 5. Rhodes was out, caught Critchley, bowled McCurr for 1. Sam Hain with a duck today. Hudson Prentice getting the wicket. Matt Lamb scored 22 before he was out off the bowling of Scrimshaw, caught by Rees. Michael Burgess made 41 off the bowling of Hudson Prentice. Again, he was caught by Guest. Brathwaite just for 3 tonight off the bowling of McKiernan, caught by Deploy. Bresnan finishes on 34. Briggs was out for 2 to Scrimshaw. Norwell was out for a duck. And Miles has finished on 2. 167 for 9, Paul Smith. Is that a target that's going to be easily defended, or are the Bears going to have to play out their skins here?
I think you always have to go out and try and play out your skin. I'd rather they got another 15, 20. But hey, the game's there to be won, isn't it? They know what they've got to defend. Derby know what they've got to go and get. Money's on the Bears. Well, am I right?
I hope so. You're going to be rejoining us for the back end of the Derbyshire innings, aren't you, Paul? So thank you. Marie will be back when we start the second innings. In the meantime, it's 167 for 9. The Bears have finished on 168 for the Falcons to win.
Bears captain and Central Sparks star Marie Kelly. Marie, you were up in the commentary box for that. The Bears rallied to get to 168, didn't they?
Yeah, I think to lose 4 wickets early doors is always going to be a tough ask. So to get up to 167 was a phenomenal effort, and quite a few key partnerships in there which helped get up to 167.
Yeah, there were some strong performances right the way through the order. So we had a good performance from Pollock, from Lamb, Burgess, and then Bresnan obviously at the end did a stellar job.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a great combination of kind of attacking play, a little bit of sensibility in the middle, and then a bit of experience at the end with Bresnan just seeing us through to the end.
How do you think they'll be feeling with that total?
I think it's probably slightly under par of what they'll be happy with, but they're a strong bowling attack, so they'll feel full of confidence to go and defend that total.
Now, we can tell you are in your uniform, so to speak. You've been at training tonight. Central Sparks are going to be here at Edgbaston for your first T20 game. You've already had a great start in the Rachel Hayhoe-Flint Trophy. And also the Birmingham Bears have had a great start to the season as well.
Yeah, we're looking in great shape, touch wood. We've had a really good start to the season in the 50-over competition. We've beaten Southern Vipers a couple of times already, so we're hoping to make it 3 out of 3 in our first T20 game this weekend.
The women's game's really having a massive push at the moment. It's so amazing to see, like so many young ladies that are coming through and want to be part of this game, all sort of following on from you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We've got so many girls starting to play. We've got loads of girls coming in. And then, yeah, it's just, obviously now you can be professional. There's just a much better transition up to there. So hopefully we'll see many more female cricketers in the future.
I think we will. Marie, thanks very much. I know you've got commentary in the next innings as well. Thank you very much for coming down. Now, another player who has had a really good start to this season in the T20 in particular is Sam Hain. Now, he has beaten Ian Bell's record of 286 runs and 3 half-centuries in this year's game. Already breaking records with more to come. We caught up with him to find out how he feels about it all.
Sam, congratulations. This week you became the highest Bears T20 run scorer. Is that an accolade that you're incredibly proud of?
Yeah, certainly. I'm obviously certainly very honoured by that. You look at some of the names on the list, there's some quality players there. So to be in amongst them, at 25 is something that I never really thought when I first joined the club, but obviously very honoured to be on that list, and definitely hungry to see how many more I can get.
You mentioned those illustrious names. Jonathan Trott is now third and Ian Bell is now second. They're 2 legendary Bears in a big legendary time for the club. Is that an honour to kind of bypass those 2 players?
It is, but you sort of take it with a grain of salt really, because obviously they played for England for so long. So if they were playing for the Bears in T20 and had more games for the Bears, you'd wonder how many they would have both got. So. Obviously it's nice, but what's more pleasing is that, as you say, it's all about contributing, putting Warwickshire in a position to win games of cricket. So, yeah.
It's rather modest of you, but we did see Jonathan Trott this morning, and he was keen to mention it. So he's aware that these records are broken, and at 25, there's still plenty of life left in you. There's plenty more runs left to score. Yeah,
definitely. As I say, when I first joined the club, it's not something that I would have thought was, I guess, possible or not. Something I ever thought was on the cards. You turn up at a place like here and it's just all about doing your job. So if anything, it's a sign that I've been doing my job okay at the minute. But definitely at 25, I'm definitely hungry for more. I still haven't got a T20 and personally that's something that I want to tick off, definitely.
Did this record be on your horizon? Was this something you looked at and thought, I want to break that this year, or you just, kind of just bypassing it and waiting for it to come?
I wasn't made aware of it until last year where you said I passed, I think a couple now, I think Ports and Trout. So it was never, I thought, something that was, definitely on the cards. As I say, I've been playing T20 for a little bit now, and it was never something I thought was, as I say before, on the cards. So you just turn up here and do your job, and then whatever will be. If I can continue putting performances on the board and for Warwickshire, then, that's, I guess I'm happy that way.
Give us an insight into how you've done it.
For me, it's keeping things very, very simple. I think I've done a little bit of soul searching in T20. I think now it's probably changing perception of my T20 game and white ball game in general. Obviously, I missed out on a 100 deal for a couple of years now, obviously with COVID, and I guess now it's changing perception that I can score quickly. And it's not all about nurling and accumulating. I still think that's a big strength of mine, but. I guess now it's keeping things very simple and trying to take a front step forward and keep throwing punches. We talk about throwing punches here at the Bears, and I guess for me it's changing that perception now and showing that I can clear the ropes and score quickly.
You mentioned the 100 as well. I presume you've got one eye on England in the future as well. If you're scoring that amount of runs at that rate, you must be on their radar.
Yeah, but it's something you not try to think about. You look at the white ball depth that England has, and it's incredibly strong. Some quality players who, don't even make that starting 11. And I guess that shows how good English cricket is and how good of a place it is in at the moment. For me, I've sort of said to myself, I can continue putting performances in for Warwickshire. Everything else will take care of itself. So, I'm very happy with where my game is at, both white ball and red ball. And you know, if I can continue going out there and scoring runs, then you know everything else will just take care of itself.
Okay, the umpires are now making their way back onto the pitch. Shortly to be followed by your Birmingham Bears. Come on, let's get behind the Bears as Captain Will Rhodes leads them out. You Bears! Opening the batting for the Derbyshire Falcons, Lewis Rees and Harry Kame. Opening the bowling for the Bears from the Birmingham end is Liam Norwell.
Here we go then. It's going to be Liam Norwell starting off for the Bears from the Birmingham end, and it's a wide to get us going. And we've got Lewis Rees and Harry Kame, who are not Harry Kane. Obviously, he's busy doing other things at the minute. But Harry Kame, who are opening up for the Derbyshire Falcons. 1-6. Actually, I wasn't far out, was I, Marie?
I know. I was thinking that down there. I thought 170. He did call it. Do you reckon they'll be happy with that total?
I think you've got to be from 97 for 5, really. Norwell again cut away, and it's between the two fielders at Gully and Point, and that's going to be 4 runs for Lewis Rees. That has fairly whizzed away. Yeah,
Bears just need to get through this power play, hopefully get a couple of wickets, and then they can look to spread the field then and restrict some boundaries. But I think the power play will be quite crucial here. Hopefully get off to a good start.
Here comes Norwell again from the Birmingham end. And that's played straight back by Rees. You've been busy doing things, haven't you, up and downstairs?
Yeah, I went and did a little interview during the break for Central Sparks as we're playing on Saturday. So just did a little round up there with Becky on Bears TV. It's very, very loud down there. They're making a lot of noise, which is great, but hard to hear.
Well, you imagine on Saturday, by the time they've already watched the men's game and they've sunk a few pints as well. Well, that's a nice leg glance from Lewis Rees. That's 4 runs, and they're on to 9 already.
Do you know what I find very hard here is not going, get down, get down. It's very hard to hold that in. But I just want them to do well here.
As a captain at this point, when you know, I mean, it's a good total, but it's a gettable total. So how is the mindset from the captain and the fielding side? Is it try to get early wickets, but if you can't do that, just don't let them get away too quickly?
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's the power play is so key in this. Obviously, only 2 fielders out. You've almost got to not panic if they get off to a flyer, as you're kind of expecting them to score runs in the first 6, and then if you do get wickets along the way, that's a bonus. But then as soon as you can get out the power play, you can almost bolt your plans a little bit better, spread the field. Obviously, in the guys' game, they can have 5 out. In the women's, you can only have 4 out. But once they can get 5 out and kind of really try and restrict the boundaries, then you kind of reassess and think, how can you win the game from there? But obviously 2 wickets early doors at least here would be great.
13 without loss, 2 balls remaining in the first over. And he comes, better ball from Norwell.
Yeah, just got to keep bowling those tight lines here. Make the batters do something, make them play a risk to try and score. Those 2 loose balls from Norwell earlier, which doesn't help when you're trying to captain a side and when you're only kind of defending at 160, 170 mark.
Chris Woakes has not played for England tonight in the T20 International, and he'd have been more than welcome to turn out here, I think.
Yeah, great to see him back with the Bears last week, wasn't it?
Norwell, that's short. It's lifted up. It's going to be the wicket. No, it's just over the top. of, I think it's Sam Hain out there. Or is it Craig Miles, actually?
I think it's Miles.
It was either an 8 or a 6. I couldn't work out which on his back. It is Miles.
Yeah,
Just for a moment he thought, and I thought it was going to land in his lap, but it didn't. And it's a terrific start from Derbyshire.
That just flew off the bat, didn't it? I thought it was straight to him, but it just kept going, just kept travelling.
19 from that first over from Liam Norwell.
It's not a great start from the Bears.
Well, immediately though, as captain, puts the pressure on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Again though, you just think couple of wickets changes the game here massively. So just staying patient. Obviously with pace on the ball and only 2 fielders out, you are going to go for runs early on. Just staying patient, try and get that wicket.
Tim Bresnan, he's your experienced head you need at this point. 19 off that first over. And Prezi to open up from this pavilion end. That's going to be a wide, just straying down the leg side. Both bowlers loose with their opening deliveries.
Yeah, I think that can often happen if you can see the bowlers are trying to bowl straight, not trying to give the batters too much width, but then obviously you can get those leg side wides creep in.
Bresnan from the pavilion end. And again, that was straying onto the leg side again. It's been turned round the corner, and that's a terrific piece of fielding this time. Blocked off a certain 4 runs. It's just going to be 2. Really decent work on that boundary.
Was that Miles again out there?
I think so.
Really well fielded from him, full stretch dive.
Well, I'm used to seeing Sammy Hain out there on those boundaries, but he's fielding at mid-on. He's a proper boundary rider most of the time.
He is.
But not right now. So Bresnan is in. Again, that's down the leg side. It's going to be another wide. All 3 deliveries so far from Bresnan have been straying onto the leg side. 1 onto the pads, which came turned round for that too, but 2 wides.
Yeah, so that tells us he's obviously trying to bowl straight, and then if he has got Sam Hain at mid-on, he's clearly looking to bowl that line and hopefully get something caught or get the ball coming back towards mid-on and mid-off.
Here is Bresnan again. It's short and on the leg side. I don't think Miles is going to stop that one. That's 4 more for Harry Kane. And 27 now. And we're only 8 balls into the Derbyshire Falcons innings.
Yeah, a little bit too straight there from Bresnan again. You can see what he's trying to do, but not quite executing his line at the minute.
So tell me about the rivalry with the Southern Vipers. Do we like the Southern Vipers?
We don't like the Southern Vipers, of course not. No, I actually played for the Southern Vipers.
Oh, that's better. Miles is under this one. It's into the sun, but he's taken the catch. And Kane turned it round the corner again. The shorter ball from Bresnan, but this time he has picked out the fielder. Craig Miles taking the catch. And Derbyshire lose their first wicket with a score on 27 in the second over.
There we go. That's what we wanted. A little bit straighter there from Bresnan. Better length. And that was his plan, what he was trying to achieve. So we got there in the end.
Well, it's cost a few runs, but...
And that's the thing, often if you haven't got as many runs on the board to play with, that's when it becomes a bit difficult, that you can't quite execute your plan in enough time. But hopefully 1 brings 2 and so on. But yeah, I used to play for the Vipers, so I do...
Played in finals.
Personally, I do like them. Yeah.
Was that 2019?
Yeah, that was. Gosh, feels like a while ago now. But obviously with Charlotte Edwards as the boss there as well, it's great to play under them. But they rarely ever lose, so for us to beat them was pretty special. And hopefully we can do it again on Saturday.
27 for 1. Second over. Double header on Saturday, then Durham up first, who themselves are pretty decent form. They got the better of the Bears at the weekend, of course.
Yeah, and Stokes is playing as well. That'll get the crowds in.
That'll cheer everyone up, won't it?
Definitely.
Full house on Saturday. Well, I say full house, obviously 6,000 is the allowed capacity at the moment. It does feel a little silly.
Yeah.
When you can have 42,000 in Wembley on Tuesday, and yet here you could get away with real social distancing. It's a hammered ball from Bresnan that's just been clumped down the ground by Rees for 4 more. He's on to 22 and now on to 31 for 1. He clearly has intent.
Yeah, exactly, and I think he's looking to play straight early doors as well, which is a good sign from a Derbyshire batter. Obviously not quite what the Bears want, but hopefully we can get another breakthrough. But yeah, it does feel silly with 6,000 here, watching the England game the other day. It
Cut
felt
away.
strange.
Is he going to catch him? Oh, that's a terrific catch.
What a catch.
That's brilliant. Low down in front of him. Reese has gone for 22.
Is that Pollock?
He's hanging around as if to say, I'm not sure that was clean. Now,
that was definitely clean.
Well, obviously what we don't have here is the benefit of a replay, but yep, they've said, I'm sorry, that is clean. Lewis Reese, you're off. You're gone. It's a terrific catch.
That was a brilliant catch. Diving forwards, they're always hard to get your fingers under the ball. You're not quite sure whether to save the boundary, go for the catch.
I want to know why you thought that was Ed Pollock. Shortest man on the field?
Well, he normally feels a third man or fine leg, doesn't he?
I was thinking purely on size. I was like, oh, he looks quite small as he's got down there.
No, I think he's normally a third or fine.
It's a really, really good catch, though. And
it's exactly what the Bears needed. We're going to need some good field in here.
Well, all of a sudden, Bresden's got 2 for 12 from this first over. Looking a little tidier, and Derbyshire at 31 for 2. They have the capacity to implode as well, which is the thing about Derbyshire. The intent is there.
Just a little bit of pressure, and obviously Warwickshire have been winning lately, so that kind of becomes a habit as well, just kind of knowing how to win games of cricket. And that can just help ease the pressure on Warwickshire and just put a little bit more onto Derbyshire's shoulders instead.
Louis Deploy is the new batsman. He's joined Tom Wood. Bresden's got 1 ball left from this pavilion end. Part of the ground in shadow now as Bresden comes forward. And that's played out for just a quick single. I'll rotate the strike. 32 for 2 then at the end of the second over.
Yeah, it'll be interesting playing under lights next Saturday. We don't do that very often, and it's quite a skill in itself to be able to get used to the lights and the kind of, like you say here, the shadows on the pitch.
It's quite a quick turnaround as well, isn't it? So what, the men's game will end about 20 past 5, nearly 5:30, and
yeah,
then
I think we're
straight out for warm-up of a 6:30 start.
Yeah, it is always quite a rush day, and obviously you've got like adrenaline going, and you're not in your usual kind of change rooms and things like that, but it's all part and parcel of playing the game, and we live any opportunity we get to play on Edgbaston and on these kind of wickets. It's great.
So you're not coming up to join us on Saturday before the game then?
Well, I can do if you want me to.
You'll be in your mindset.
Yeah, I'll be trying to get focused. Yeah, I think we're over the other side of the ground as well, so we're going to try and stay, obviously with all these COVID measures, try and stay away from you lot over this side.
How rude. Danny Briggs is coming on to bowl the third over. So spin inside the power play here. Briggs left arm, and that's just defended.
He's been a great addition to the Bears lineup this year, hasn't he?
It was a key thing after Jeaton's retirement, wasn't it, to find that spinner who could really deliver and 100%. Has the ability to bowl in the first 6 overs as well.
Yeah, it's so key having an option of bowling spin in the power play.
Experienced head, Briggs.
And again, just something that turns the ball away from the batters as well. Obviously, Jeets was a fantastic bowler, lots of experience, and then for him to go, we just needed somebody to fill that hole, like you said.
You say go. I did see him here on Friday night after the game was
oh, really?
washed out. He had his 3 lions on. I did point out to him it's much nicer than the silver fern, and he ought to have thought about it sooner, really. Here's Briggs from the far end. Just turned into the leg side, no run.
Great start from Briggs here. Building up some dot balls here, which is key.
He's missing his spin buddy, of course, Jake Lintott tonight, due to in isolation because of a COVID situation. Let's turn around the corner, and we couldn't quite get it first time round. And actually, somehow, between Bresden on this near side and the diving Liam Norwell, that has gone all the way for 4. And that almost seemed to happen in slow motion.
Yeah, I really thought Bresden was going to get there, but it just kept going away from him. Really, Briggs got a bit of pace on it then. Nicely played.
4 runs. Ploy on target again. Again, he's turned Briggs round the corner. They're taking 1, thinking about a second, but really good fielding. Again, out on the boundary ropes from Craig Miles. And that was a tricky one as well, because it was coming across some old used wickets that look in the best of shape.
It's never nice fielding there.
Briggs again, back to the bowler. That's the end of the over. Just 6 from it as well. Just what you want in the power play.
That's brilliant. I think anything sort of at the 10s mark in the power play, you take that.
Just a reminder to everyone,
38 for 2 then at the end of the third over.
Yeah, it's horrible fielding on the square like that, especially when they've got wickets covered as well for other games. You don't know whether to go forward or back.
With your lightning reactions, are you not always in the slip, or?
I am actually in the slips quite a bit, but I like being in the action though as well. So I'm kind of in two minds at the minute. I love being in slip, but I feel like you kind of just want the ball nailed at you for the first couple of balls just to really get you into the game. So I want to go anywhere where the ball's going, to be honest. Keep me involved.
And you're going to be all right for Saturday? You said you had a bad back, but that...
Yeah, it's all fine now. It's all sorted. Lots of physio, lots of core.
Bresnan's in, and on the drive, and coming down the wicket a bit there, Deploy.
I think that just hit the batsman then.
Well, the umpire is holding his hands up, and he's given the 4.
Oh, he's given it.
And he just shrugs his shoulders and said, well, what am I supposed to do? So it was fielded. The throw came in. It's come off the batsman and flown away for 4.
That's not what the Bears need.
That's unfortunate.
You don't see that very often, do you? I thought he might have called it a dead ball, but like you say, what can you do?
That's the voice of Marie Kelly, of course, Warwickshire captain, and playing for the Central Sparks at the weekend against the Southern Vipers here. And we've just witnessed Deploy carve that ball away from Bresnan through the covers for 4. It's a decent shot, 46 for 2.
Yeah, that's good batting. Over. Good batting from Deploy there. Everyone up on the offside. Doesn't need to get much under it to clear the ring field there. Fairly low risk option with pace on the ball.
Fairly short boundaries tonight as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, especially that leg side.
Here's Bresnan. I think he's trying to avoid that leg side at all costs, isn't he?
Yeah, I did think I'd see more of the batters from both teams, to be honest, targeting that boundary a little bit more, but it's fairly even all the way around, isn't it? So
I think you probably missed Ed, who was absolutely throwing
his
ban at everything on that leg side of that.
Ed always targets the leg side, doesn't he? Regardless of boundary size, though. So
that boundary right was being brought in when I arrived earlier, so I think they'd already said, Ed, we're going to give you a chance both sides tonight. Down the wicket here comes Deploy, and it's a wide. But I think Bresnan saw him coming, gave it a bit more width, and I mean, he's doing the teapot there.
Yeah, he doesn't look happy with that, does he? Bit of a tight call there, but you're never happy as a bowler with those decisions. And as a batter, you're always looking and waiting for the umpire to call it.
And what are you doing as a captain if your bowler starts hurling down too many wides in your mind? Is it just a quick word to say?
Yeah, I guess you just go and have a chat and see what they're thinking, whether they're kind of intending to bowl it that wide.
Well, that's a big hit. Shot. He's got that all the way for 6 over Will Rhodes' shoulders, right towards the traffic cone that was moving its way in the lower tier of the stand. It's a massive hit from Deploy, and it brings up the 50 for Derbyshire. And we've only had 22 balls of the innings, and now 53 for 2, chasing 168 for victory.
Bresnan just having another word with the umpire there. I feel like that ball was a bit of a frustration loosener. Full on the leg side with no one out there. It's got to be put away, isn't it? But yeah, look, you can see now Rhodesy having a chat with Bresnan, probably just making sure what plan he's going with, trying to keep him cool under pressure.
Still got 2 balls left. His over seems to be almost endless from Tim Bresnan. Plenty of movement as well from Deploy, and he's just unsettling Bresnan, and it's 4 more squirted out on the offside. He's on to 23, they're on to 57. He's only faced 8 deliveries.
Yeah, that's fairly inconsistent bowling there from Bresnan, unfortunately, and batters just put it away either side of the wicket.
It's a real exaggerated kind of movement, isn't it? He's moving around that crease. How difficult with that kind of movement is it to set yourself and just play a good cricket shot?
Yeah, I think it's each to their own, I guess. I think me personally, I prefer getting still and being settled just before I play the shot, and others like to be on the move.
Bresnan's in again, and that's a better line because it's just cramped him for space. He'll only get a single this time.
You can see there he does move around a bit, but he is still on contact. So he still gets that base before he makes his decision and plays the right shot.
End of the 4th over, 58 for 2. We
need another tight over from Briggs here as he comes back on.
There's only 110 required of the last 16 overs. Briggs 6 from his first over. What he could do with a wicket really. If I was to deploy, he just turns him into the leg side. He'll take the single.
Yeah, wickets are key here. I think it's pretty obvious with this quick outfield, short boundaries, runs are going to be easy to come. We just need the wickets, stop the run rate.
Usually takes about 15 points to qualify. The general feeling is it's going to be a little higher this time round. There are a few sides who have taken a few bashings near the foot of the table, which always makes it interesting, although Yorkshire have lost some of their international contingent now, of course, which weakens them considerably.
True, and I guess with T20 cricket you just never know what's going to happen, do you? Right till the last ball.
Were you here on the last game of last year? Well, no one was here, whether it was an empty place. I felt like I was here on my own, to be fair. and to see them post a huge score and Hose get his 100, you just thought they had Northants in all sorts of trouble, and somehow Northants got themselves out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite being 7 wickets down, it was heartbreaking actually, because the Bears had done so well to get themselves into that decent position.
Yeah, and they played so well, and you just never know with T20, do you? You got to wait till the last ball.
Here's Briggs again. Ball number 5 of this second over here on Bears Den TV. It's driven forward by Wood. It'll be a single.
He looks like he's bowling a great pace as well, and just really getting a few of those Yorkers in, not letting the batters get anything under the ball, not letting them go aerial.
Just 3 off the over so far. Obviously, Matt Lamb providing one of the other spin options in the absence of Dan, who looks like he's broken his finger yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the over, is it? I thought that was only 5 balls, but it would appear to be 6. He's got through it fairly swiftly.
Yeah, another great over from Briggs.
It is, just 11 runs from his 2 overs so far, whereas Bresnan may have got a couple of wickets, but 2 for 33. 19 off that first over from Liam Norwell. And it's time for Ricky to enter the fray. I did have to ask earlier why he's got Ricky on the back of his shirt.
Yeah, why is he called Ricky?
His middle name.
Is it?
Ricardo is his middle
nice.
name.
There we go then.
It's a few less letters than Brathwaite as well, I suppose.
Could have had Carlos, couldn't he?
He could, yeah. It's probably a bit of a tight squeeze, Brathwaite. I'm not sure it would go across. How many letters is that? Yeah, you see, look, you're looking at 10 letters. 10.
Yeah. Just seen Barbados is on the green list now.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that's a short ball. And well dealt with and held by Burgess. Deploy having a swing, but no contact.
Good to start the over on a dot ball as well.
I've not seen the list, so that's it now?
My friends have literally just texted me saying
we're going to Barbados, girls.
Yeah. As soon as season's over, hopefully it'll still be on the green list. Get a flight out there. One of my favourite places to go.
It?
Yeah.
What, usually to play cricket?
I've been a couple of times. So I've been with Loughborough University to play cricket.
Yep.
And then with Complete Cricket, we take a team out on a few international tours, and we took them to Barbados last year, which was brilliant. So I've never actually been on my own personal holiday.
But you and the girls are going, that's the plan.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Big suitcase, room for a little one?
If you can pay.
Just a thought, you know. 64 for 2. We are into the 6th over, the last one of the power play then. Carlos is on. And he's bowling here to Wood, who's on 4. That's well bowled.
He's just followed in there, isn't he? Like you were saying, he's moving around the crease a little bit, but he's reacted well there and followed him and not allowed him to give himself any more room.
I mean, when I saw the signing, I thought, OK, we know what he can do. He can certainly clear the ropes, and he can bowl very well. It was when I found out that how he'd been, you know, around the club for a couple of months and really integrated himself and got involved, I was incredibly impressed and thought, actually, this could be probably one of their best T20 signings.
Yeah, definitely. And he's become quite active in the community as well. He's been doing a few Chance to Shine sessions and things like
brilliant.
that, going out and inspiring local school kids. So it really seems like he's adapted kind of what it means to be a Bear.
Brathwaite's in again. Really nice ball, just defended by Wood.
That's the area the Bears need to bowl here. Make Derbyshire do something. Make them take a risk.
Well, we've not seen Craig Miles yet, of course. Will Rhodes, I'm sure, will be having a bowl. And then Matt Lamb, the other option. And here's Brathwaite in again. Short, makes some room for himself this time, Wood, and he carves it away for 4. It's clever batting.
It is again. That's pretty well bowled. But the batter's given himself a bit of room. allowed his arms to swing with freedom and get through the covers for 4.
It almost feels sometimes that we sat up here, and I say we, I mean me, it can be a little critical, but you know, there is no divine right that when a good ball is bowled like that the batsman cannot make something good of it, which he did then, and he's drilled that one back down the ground. It's going to be a single this time because it's been well fielded down here by Tim Bresnan. But there's almost it has to be a bad ball if the batsman gets it away, but it doesn't. I mean,
no, exactly. And I think the way that cricket's going as well, the incredible skill that's on show now, I think that's what you were saying earlier about, as a captain, what you do in this situation. And sometimes you just have to respect that the batters have played a good shot. It's still a good ball, we've not necessarily bowled badly, but the batters are allowed to bat well and bowlers are allowed to bowl well sometimes. So just keeping that level head and just waiting, holding out for the team to make the mistake first.
Power plays up, 69 for 2. The Bears were 62 for 4 at this stage, so not much between them in terms of runs, but obviously those couple of wickets can make a huge difference. Liam Norwell is coming back into the attack from the Birmingham end. 14 overs remaining, turned round the corner for 4, whipped by really fast hands from Tom Wood. It's a very nice shot, takes him on to 13.
See again there, that's not bad bowling, he's pretty much bowled to his field, but the batter's just whipped his hands through it and just squeezed it behind back of square. That
ability in T20 to do that with your wrist is so crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, you just have to be really clear on where your scoring options are, where you're going to get the balls. If you do get something in your area, you know it's going to go all the way.
Norwell in again, not his night so far. Cracked away this time by Wood, but he picks the fielder out. Craig Miles on the boundary for just the one, actually. I think he was hoping when he made the contact he was going to get more than that, but Miles fields nicely. He's boundary riding along with Bresnan on this near side. Bresman's down at third man, and then we've got a fine leg and a deep square leg as well. We're just pushing. Bresnan's coming up, I think, is he? Oh no, he's just moving him round a little, so we've got 5 outside. Norwell's in again to deploy, who just plays that one down, and it's fielded at backward point quite nicely.
We quite often see this field now in T20, and we do it quite a lot, where you don't have a mid-wicket in. You just set the boundary riders out there, and you say, yep, fine, get a single in there. And
so, and that's the theory, is it? You're just happy to let the single go?
Yeah, because the batters still have to play across the line to get it into that arc. So if you're still bowling your best ball, the batters still have to do something to get it into the leg side.
Here's Norwell again. Deploy just steps down the wicket as the ball's being delivered and nudges it into the leg side. It's fielded again by Miles. There's another single. 75 for 2. 2 balls remaining in the 7th over.
And that's where, as a batter, you then try to look for 2s there as well. So it's becoming quite a good shot now. So just kind of not get your hands through it completely. Just try and push it into the gap and try and get back for 2.
Deploy's win well slowed up here. He's on to 29, and that's cut away this time by Wood. Bresnan's going to field it. Just be a single again at third man. 1 run to the total.
Better over here from Norwell. Like we said before, he's got through the power play. He's allowed to have a few more fielders out now, so he's able to bowl to his field a little bit better.
Did you catch much of the women's test at all?
I did. I actually went down.
Ah. Norwell in from the Birmingham end. Just short, dabbed into the chance for a run out here if he can hit, but Will Rhodes can't quite hit, and that's going to be a single. 77 for 2 then after 7 overs. The poll of the day is up for the second innings to predict today's winners. It's very simple. On the Edgbaston app, scroll down to the home tab, and who do you think will win this evening? You avoided giving an answer in the first innings, and yet I was pretty close. Who's going to win this game from this
I've got to say the Bears, haven't I?
You don't have a choice, otherwise
no,
you
I backed the Bears,
allowed
100%.
to leave. Yeah,
100%. Look, they know how to win. They're on a winning streak. It's T20 cricket. I think we'll get the better of the pressure on the Derbyshire boys, and should get the win in the bag.
The Test match was crying out for a 5th day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But I think it was more the rain on the 3rd day that killed it a little bit.
Brathwaite's in. It's big swipe, no contact, dot ball.
That's where bowled. That's a great area. See, he's having to play across the line there to be able to score off it. That's the area they need to bowl. But yeah, we had Emily Arlott, who's in the Central Sparks squad. She was called up to the England Test squad for the first time, so we all thought she'd play. So we went down, but unfortunately she didn't make it into the starting 11. But we had a great day nonetheless.
Brathwaite's in. Lovely ball again, really nice line, lovely length, deploy. Didn't really offer anything at that. Another dot ball. 77 for 2. You must be heartened by, because look, you've played at every level for Warwickshire. Does it give you a real kind of buzz and a thrill now to see the kind of acknowledgement and the media interest and the crowd interest and supporters interest in? I mean, that's a really good shot there from deploy. He's just ramped that over the top of the keeper, Michael Burgess, and away to the boundary for 4. He was running out of ideas, I think, as how to deal with Carlos Brathwaite.
I was literally just thinking he's going to have to do something different here. And you always call it an action ball. So if there's been 2 or 3 dots, the next ball, something's going to happen.
Ball.
Yeah,
I'm going to take notes on these.
Yeah, write that
down. Going to get so much better with what you're telling me.
You just know something's going to happen, and then it's either going to be a wicket or the batter's going to score.
Here's Brathwaite again in. He's hooked that, and it's not quite going to reach the fielder on the boundary. It'll be a 1 bounce for a single. So the way the women's game is evolving, and like you say, Saturdays, but you take every opportunity you get to come here, play under the lights, play in front of that kind of crowd. It must give you a bit of a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Yeah, definitely. I think it makes me sound old when I say back when I was younger, but back when I was 9, 10, there were just no girls playing cricket, and me and my twin sister were one of the only girls at our local club, Aylesford Cricket Club, and then if you turned up to Warwickshire Trials, there was only 9 of you that turned up and you got in, and just to see how much it's changed in sort of 10 years itself is fantastic, and it's so exciting just for the next 5 or 10 years. It's great. And what happened to your twin sister? Did she give up playing? No. So it's more interesting than me, actually. She is the head coach of Argentina women's cricket team. Oh, wow. Yeah, she's just finished out there. So she's been there for, 3.5 years now. And she's just got a job back in London. She's obviously still in Argentina because of the COVID situation. But she will be back as soon as she can. Big hit off Carlos Brathwaite. That's 4 runs. Deploy, moves on to 39. Huge hit. 87 for 2 at the end of the 8th over. Derbyshire on top here, aren't they? Just starting to accelerate the run rate a little bit. Deploy getting into the swing of things. Yeah, they are. I mean, we are in a scenario where at this moment in time the runs need to be dried up, but I think the key is going to be taking a few quick wickets and putting them in the kind of position the Bears found themselves in. So is she staying in cricket while she's in London? Is that the... Yeah, so she's working for a sports marketing company, and her first project is actually in the 100. There we go. So she's very happy that she actually said to my mum and dad the other day, would you ever think that Marie would be being paid to play cricket and I'm being paid to watch it now? Which I guess we never thought would happen all those years ago, just playing in a little field. But that's fun. It's those kind of things as well. It's not just the playing opportunities, it's the other jobs that are there for women in sport, which has massively increased over the last couple of years, which is fantastic. 88 for 2, start of the 9th over. Marie Kelly is with us, of course. She'll be out there on the field on Saturday evening when the Central Sparks take on the Southern Vipers in the Blast. And then, of course, the 100 is coming soon. Briggs bowls, turn around the corner by Deploy. It's going to be another single. How is the kit? Is it orange? Does it suit you? Is it your colour? Yeah, look, it's very orange, I'm not going to lie. Does orange suit anybody? I don't know, to be fair. I'm not sure it does. It's very comfy. It's a great brand. It's obviously New Balance kit, so it's really good sort of cricket material. So it's probably the comfiest kit I've ever worn. So that's a positive. Always good. It's not as bright as I thought, so that's good. But we have got gold pads and gold helmet, which is the only thing I'm not quite sure about. Orange and gold. Yeah. Interesting combo. I can't wait to see this. Turn around the corner. Yeah, it wouldn't have been my go-to choice, but we're better than Trent Rockets, so I feel like they're there. What are they wearing? Well, they're like black trousers with the yellow and red top. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Briggs bowling again here. It's 3rd over for Briggs. So, in essence, he's really banking here, Will Rhodes, on Briggs perhaps grabbing a wicket. Yeah. He's got 1 ball left in this 3rd over, 90 for 2. He deserves a wicket here. He's bowled really well. And more than halfway to their total, or the target. And that's just chipped into the leg side. It's just going to be 1 run. It's the end of the over, 93 for 2.
I think Derbyshire have recognised
92 for 2, should I say?
how good Briggs is bowling, and they're playing fairly low risk shots against him. They're not looking to sweep him. They're just looking to play him back down the ground, get through his overs and potentially target the other bowlers with more pace on the ball at the other end.
9 overs gone then. Craig Miles is, I think, going to enter the fray and have his first bowl from this pavilion end. So what's the plan between now and Saturday for you? More training?
No, like tonight was
Day
the
off
last
tomorrow?
one. Yeah, day off tomorrow. I've got a little bit of coaching to do tomorrow. So I run the girls
non-stop,
system.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's very non-stop. But it's one of those things that you kind of recognise as a female cricketer. You've got to do things for the wider game as well. I've got to inspire some more girls to play, and I coach on a Friday night at Noel and Dorridge Cricket Club, and we've got 60 girls there now.
Oh wow! All age range? Is that?
Yeah, so it's great. We've actually got sort of probably 10 to 12 at each age group, which is really, really nice, and the transition works really well. So I'm really keen to keep that going.
Craig Miles into the attack. First over from him, then from the pavilion end. Short, and attempted to be cut away by Wood, who misses it on this occasion. And there's no run.
Nice bit of carry there from Miles.
He's got some zip about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, a bit of pace on the ball.
Obviously, Ollie Stone out for the rest of the season with lower back injury again.
So gutted for him. He was looking in great shape, obviously, in the England squad.
Miles is in. That's Fuller, and he fields off his own bowling acrobatically. And there's no run again.
Good start from Miles. 2 dot balls.
76 to win. We're about to reach the halfway mark.
Here comes the action ball.
Well, yeah, I'm on it. I've got it noted down. Action ball time. It's similar, I'm guessing, in Test cricket. So they always say is that if you can get 3 maidens away, or you are statistically likely to make something happen and take a wicket.
Yeah, exactly.
Miles in. Here is the action,
There you
and
go.
it's carved away for 4 runs by Wood, who moves on to 23.
So both times Derbyshire have got the better of that ball, where you just need that momentum to stick with Warwickshire. But hopefully we can just get another couple of dots again, try and get the pressure back on them.
There's a council of war with Will Rhodes, Tim Bresnan, obviously senior player, and Craig Miles as well.
Just gave him a bit too much width there, allowed him to free his hands through it and carved away over point.
And Wood's looking at the gap, backward of square on the leg side as Miles bowls, and then in the end he finds the top edge of the bat, loops in the air for a while. They'll only get a single. It's well fielded, and it's 97 for 2. He's on to 24, and it brings Deploy on to strike, who's on 41. 71 runs required.
Deploy striking at quite a high rate now as well. He's started to pick it up. I think he'll be quite a key wicket in this. If we can go him and then another quick wicket, it just pulls us back into the game a little bit more.
Obviously the Bears reached 97 with 5 down on the board when Brathwaite was out. That swung round the corner, and that's going to be 6. Nothing you can do. It's a short boundary. Miles was short in his length, straying onto the leg side and easily dispatched by Deploy for 4.
Yeah, Bear's not quite bowling the right lines at the minute. Length's been okay, but
it was actually a 6 as well. It's just cleared the ropes. He's on to 47. Body language not great at the moment. I think there is a feeling that this one's just starting to get away. Changing field again. They're bringing third man up and dropping Will Rhodes back here to long on. Miles is in again. Bowls, and then they just pop that into the gap that's now appeared. And they'll grab a single, and that'll be the end of the over, and that's 10 overs done. And Paul Smith is waiting behind you to come and take over. So thank you for your company and your insight, and we'll see you again soon, I hope, before the campaign's out.
Hopefully see you Saturday.
And on Saturday, yes, good luck for Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Let's hope it goes well. That's Marie Kelly, who's going to leave us right now, having hot-footed it from Central Sparks training today to come and join us here at Edgbaston on Bears Den TV. And of course, she's in action on Saturday for the Central Sparks. That's after the game against Durham, which we'll have live for you, and you'll see streaming coverage of that as well. Some interesting insight into the women's game as well from Marie, and really good insight into tonight's game as well. Paul Smith's back with us, Warwickshire legend. Do you know, we're okay. Need to spin that round a little bit. Oh, other way round. Let's move your headset that way. Take that one off and spin round. We'll sort of Paul's headset out here. There we go. And we've got the halfway mark. 64 required here, Paul. Not quite going according to plan.
We need a couple of wickets quick.
Danny Briggs has obviously bowled very well. We've now got Matt Lamb into the attack. Briggs with one left. 63 is the target. Or 64, should I say. Turned into the leg side. Just going to be one. They're looking for a second. Decide not to go for it. And it's just one run. 105 for 2.
Even with boundaries in, it's still a big ground, so we need to get wickets. Warwickshire need to get wickets because they'll play tip and run and win it.
Wood on 24, deploy on 49. Wood's on strike. It's big 6. He's picked Lamb up and he's hoiked him over the leg side. And 111 for 2. They move on to. Wood moves on to 30 from 23 deliveries. And at the moment, this is looking a bit of a stroll for the Derbyshire Falcons.
It is. We need wickets. Warwickshire need wickets.
It's with Matt Lamb from the Birmingham end. Better ball. Decent length. Good pace on it as well. And it's just blocked back on this occasion by Tom Wood. .111 for 2. 11th over. Wood drives it up to long on. Or long off, should I say. Just one run. Into Burgess. 112 for 2. Deploys on strike. He's on 49 from 29 balls. Opportunity here on Bearsden TV to bring up a 50, which he does. And Deploy does move on to 50 from 30 deliveries. Really good innings from Deploy. Really set about this Warwickshire attack, following on from the terrific start given to them by Lewis Rees and Harry Kane. Lamb's gone for 9 in that first over, and well, there's plenty of questions here for Will Rhodes. He's going to turn to Carlos Brathwaite, Paul. He's gone for 16 from his 2 overs.
Well, cometh the hour.
Really is one of those moments, isn't it?
Well, you need your senior bowlers to do something and hope the youngsters ride on the back of that.
Well, the 6,000 fans in here at Edgbaston have enjoyed a bit of Sweet Caroline, just to raise the spirits a little. 55 is the target from the last 9 overs. Easily gettable. The only way the Bears are going to slow this one down is going to be with the taking of wickets. And they're looking to Carlos Ricardo Brathwaite as the man to deliver that from this pavilion end. No, it's a full start. Hands on hips, he's a little irritated.
Not happy, is he?
Deploy. He's on 50. Something none of the Bears quite managed to do today, get to the half-century mark. Brathwaite bowls. Deploy. Picks up the ball off a full length and just carts it into the leg side for a single. Brathwaite will look to bowl fast and full. Deploy has been moving around his crease an awful lot pre-delivery stride just to try and settle the bowl. He certainly managed that with Tim Bresnan, I think. It's safe to say. 114 for 2.
Well, they've come out all guns blazing, haven't they? From ball 1.
Brathwaite is in again. Short, just cut away. Nicely guided down to third man. It's going to be another single. Moves Deploy on to Deploy's on 51. It moves Wood on to 32. Decent partnership brewing here between these two.
You need to separate them.
Brathwaite again. 31 was when the wicket of Rees fell. He's got all of that. 6 runs. Deploy just stepped into that from Brathwaite, should I say, and has launched it over the boundary ropes.
great hands.
Really was a terrific shot.
Stayed with it, didn't he?
Well, getting more and more challenging as the moments go by. Another chorus of Sweet Caroline inside Edgbaston. I think just trying to rev the crowd up to try and inspire the Birmingham Bears here. 47 runs required for victory. Brathwaite's in again. This one's drilled down the ground to Will Rhodes. They decline the single and he's on the edge of the circle. And the captain just looks towards the sky, claps his hands together, trying to encourage the players some more. 121 for 2. 46 required. 8 overs and 2 balls remaining. Brathwaite in again. Full toss. And he's got him, is he?
Bump
Deploy.
ball.
It is a bump ball. No, that's celebrating. Deploy standing there. Then again, the umpires will confer as to whether this is out. They've asked for the ball.
I thought it was bump ball.
Well, Deploy's going nowhere. The Bears are celebrating. The umpires are going to confer. I thought it may have been a bump ball too, Paul, if I'm honest with you. The Bears are convinced the catch has been taken and Deploy's out. He's been given. And the decision has come from the square leg umpire that he's out, and he just puts his head back. Deploy. Innings over. Good innings. 57 he's gone for.
That's 1 wicket. That's 1 wicket we needed. Warwickshire needed. That looked like a bump ball to me. I mean, we'll check the review, but you'll take it, won't you?
Yeah,
Many times you bowl a good ball, doesn't get a wicket. Other times you get a wicket unexpectedly. That looked like one of those to me.
Well, they went to Carlos Brathwaite to get the wicket, and he's delivered. 1-2-1 for 3 then. Just a glimmer of hope. Deploy out for 57. Some 34 deliveries, 3 sixes and 5 fours delivered by Deploy. Brathwaite with 1 ball to come in this 12th over. He's got 1 for 24. And I think the captain is in, Critchley. And he'll be on strike. He could really do as the Falcons did. Another wicket now would be quite handy. Would certainly set the cat amongst the pigeons as one just flies by our commentary position. Here's Brathwaite again. Last ball of the 12th over. To Critchley. Plays it out on the offside, no run. Good over from Carlos Brathwaite. 8 from it, but a wicket as well. He's got 1 for 24 from his 3 overs. And with 12 overs gone, it's 121 for 3. So 47 more is required. Wood key there on 32. He's the next man you'd like out, really.
And if you can't get him out, keep him off strike. You know, it's not always about getting wickets. I think the best way to bowl at the best players in the world. I'm not saying that this guy's the best player in the world, but anyone who's in form and striking the ball well, best way to bowl at them is to keep them at the non-striker's end. So that's a pretty simple formula if you can apply it.
Yeah, you see what Tim Bresnan can do here. Expensive, 33 from his 2 overs so far, but he did get a couple of wickets. He's changed ends. He's coming from the Birmingham end this time is Bresnan. Decent ball, good length outside the off stump. It can only be tapped back by Wood. There's no run at the start of this 13th over. 20 over cricket, of course, bringing in the crowds. You were winning trophies at 50 over cricket, weren't you? Well, 55 over and 60, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a bit of everything in those days, wasn't it? I know we've
40.
We've tried everything, and that's 4. Wood cuts that one away. There was a random try. They tried 45 at one point as well, didn't they?
I think they've tried most
years
things,
ago.
if I'm honest. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, 2020 cricket is what we all played when we were kids, you know, playing club cricket, junior cricket. It was all 20 over cricket. So it's nothing new, it's just been enhanced.
Yeah, I used to do a bit of recreational Tuesday and Thursday evening 20 over cricket.
Yeah.
It was the way to get a decent game in after work. Preston with a lovely ball as he edged it. Bresnan thinks so. The umpire says no, and Wood is unmoved. I think Bresnan and Burgess were absolutely convinced there was an edge there. Wood's still there on 36. Critchley at the non-striker's end. It's only faced a ball yet to score. 125 for 3. Bresnan in again from the Birmingham end.
Ooh.
Got an outside edge on that one. Just goes beyond the fielder at backward point. Kind of in a short third man, but a little wider. We have got a third man down here as well between the two of them. And again, it's 2 more runs for Wood. He's on to 36. Danny Briggs was the fielder at. He's a bit at backward point on the gully. 127 for 3. Bresnan in again. Tucked into the leg side just for a quick single, it'll be. For Wood. 39 he's on to. 128 for 3 now. 1 ball remaining in the 13th over. 7 off this over from Bresnan so far. 40 required for victory. And we've got 43 balls remaining. Here is Bresnan from the Birmingham end. Bowls just down into the ground that time from Critchley. He'll get a single. End of the over. And it's 129 for 3. 7 overs remaining. 39 runs required.
Danger man off strike. That was a bonus.
Yep. Run a ball here though. Really?
Yep. Run a ball.
Required.
Old style cricket.
With 7 wickets in the hatch, so
Warwickshire needs wickets.
Miles is coming back on. I'm surprised we've not seen the captain bowl himself this evening, actually, Will Rhodes. Occasionally chips in with a crucial wicket. I wonder if his pace might have suited this deck a little. It's a decent wicket. A little too paced, do you think, at times, maybe? Just look like some of them were getting through their shots a bit quickly.
Yeah, maybe. I think.
Here's Miles. No run off the first ball. Well fielded. Excellently fielded, in fact, by Matt Lamb.
I think bowlers who've got a bit of pace have managed to get it through. Yeah. No wicket plays the same every ball, does it really?
And they say it sometimes just goes on a little bit better under the lights as well, doesn't it? Because Derbyshire don't seem to have had too many problems with not quite timing the ball. Miles is in, turned into the leg side. Again, Lamb will field. This is better. Miles has found a good line and a good length just to tuck him up. Well, there was talk of having a streaker. Fully clothed, but has certainly gone running onto the outfield. Being chased by 2 stewards who aren't quite quick enough. Well, this is a new phenomenon. People running onto the field with clothes on. Yeah. In your day, it was far more likely they'd be wearing nothing.
They'd rip them off, yeah. But I think it's now. In my day, they would escort that person out of the ground, whereas now they fine them £1,000, as was announced before the game. Anyone who takes the field, you're a grand down.
Well, we knew we might see some students arriving and doing that thing this evening. Shock, horror, surprise, surprise. 129 for 3. Third ball of the 14th over. Miles bowls, good. Just keeps him stuck there. 3 dot balls for Critchley in this over.
But well, didn't he?
Miles has found a good line and a good length. New batsman, he's just keeping him there, isn't he? Like you said, keep the man in form and the man in off strike, which is exactly what Miles is doing.
Yeah. It all plays its part.
Found a really good rhythm here, Miles. 3 more dot balls here would be fantastic. He's in again. 2, Critchley once more. A little bit shorter this time, but still he gets it to Matt Lamb and they'll smuggle through for a single. Lamb is down on one of the used wickets. I think that was the strip that was used to the test match, actually. And puff of dust as he went down, but they still keep him just a single. Critchley's on to 1. 38 required. Well, Critchley's on to 2, should I say. Wood is on 39. He's the danger man. Removing him now could make things interesting. 38 required for victory. 2 balls left in the 14th over. In he comes again, Miles. Just drilled down the ground. There's going to be no run again.
It's bowled well, isn't it? Just got to finish it off.
Really good over. Did you enjoy the bowling sometimes at the pressure end of those?
They're the
games?
situation. I think once you played a bit, they're the situations you got to want to bowl. You know, you have to want to thrive in those situations.
And you were
my job was to take wickets.
In comes Miles again.
What ball?
Lovely ball. Great Yorker. That's a terrific over from Craig Miles. Great recovery. Went for 12 off his first. Just a single off over number 14. And it means there are 36 balls remaining, 38 runs required. Well done to Craig Miles.
And the batsman on strike is?
It will be Critchley.
So there you go, you see.
So again, a chance to put some pressure on. And it's Danny Briggs who's coming back into the attack. I think Will Rhodes is desperate to get a wicket from Danny Briggs if he can. At this point, any wicket will do. Briggs then from the Birmingham end. Turned into the leg side. There's a big gap there for Critchley to play the ball into. Brings Wood onto strike on 39. 38 to win. 35 balls remaining. Briggs again. Will now bowl to Wood. From that pavilion end. Wearing 14. Briggs, oh, he's got him. Surely. Is that out?
Just missed the stumps.
Well, I wasn't sure if it wrapped the pad first. Tried to reverse sweep, did Wood, on 39. Danny Briggs laughing. I think he fancies his chances here. Left arm of Briggs. In again. Makes some room this time. Wood, oh, he's missed it completely. Burgess whips the bails off. Asks the question of the square leg umpire, but nothing doing. So, I mean, when you consider that's 9 deliveries, 2 runs. This is a real piece of pressure coming here from the Birmingham Bears. This time Wood does get it away, all the way up to long on, just for a single. 2 balls remaining in the over. So 32 remaining in the game. 36 required. Good pressure from Briggs and Miles being built up here. Critchley just tries to play that off his pads. Briggs just followed in and cramped him for space there, didn't he?
They bowled well.
Last ball of the over from Briggs again. Last ball of his spell. Back down the ground he goes. Just going to get a single to Carlos Brathwaite. 3 off the over. Just 4 off the last 2 overs. Briggs has finished 4 overs, no maiden. None for 19 from his 4 overs. Wood is on 40, Critchley's on 4. We've got 30 balls remaining. The last 5 overs to come here, and 35 is the required target. Here's the thoughts of Paul Smith.
We have another streaker.
Oh, well,
a topless streaker. Is that another student going to be fined £1,000? They must have more money than me when I was studying.
Well, I was going to say, these students owe plenty of money, don't they, for their tuition fees. I think this one's going to try and get back in the stand before he's apprehended by any of the stewards and see if he can escape. Oh, and he's thrown himself over the top. And I think a few too many beers may have been consumed this evening.
I think we've been in the bar in Cannon Hill Park before they ventured here. My spies tell me.
Now on our Twitter page at Warwickshire CCC, you can register your vote for our 61 deep player of the match. Get casting your votes right now. Here's Miles. He's in. He's drilled down the ground. Rhodes is going to block that. It's just going to be a single. Captain getting down low to his left-hand side. Just a single. Critchley's on 4. Wood is on 40. In fact, Critchley's on to 5, should I say. 1, 3, 4 for 3. 34 required. Miles from the pavilion end. Bowling now to Wood, who's on 40. He's got aerial this time into the leg side. Going to be 1. They're going to turn for a second, but they don't take on the arm of Sam Hain, who's now gone out onto that square leg boundary where we so often find him. One of the better fielders in this Birmingham Bears side, and he's in one of the key positions. 33 required. 28 balls remaining.
Anything can happen.
Miles again. Into bowl. Short. Hooked away. Just going to be a single. Critchley's on to 6. 1-3-6 for 3. Signalled as the one of the over for the over by the umpire. 3 singles at the start of this over from Miles. Conceded 1 in the previous over, of course. Briggs went for 3, so again, in the last 15 balls, just 7 runs scored. Here's Miles again. In, drilled back down the ground with power by Wood for 4. It's a terrific shot. It was a full toss from Miles, who had to take evasive action there. 45 for Wood, and that boundary just releases some of that pressure. 2 balls remaining in this over from Miles. Beautiful evening at Edgbaston now. Sun setting. Maybe it's setting on the Bears' opportunities here. I think the ball has been touched by a member of the public or the crowd. So it's having to be cleansed by the umpire just down below. Back with Miles again. Bresnan and Rhodes all having a discussion. Probably just want it. Oh, and now we're now down to just a pair of underpants. So slowly but surely, the streakers are providing. There's a handstand as well as they're taken down. And a third intruder onto the outfield. It's not big, it's not clever, but it appears that everyone's chancing their arm this evening. 28 to win. 26 balls remaining. And it's going to be Miles to bowl. Changing field from, or is it Matt Lamb just coming in? No, he's dropping to the edge of the circle, and Carlos Brathwaite stepping up. And Miles is in, and he's bowling to Wood, who just hammers it into the ground on the offside. Just going to be 1. Bounce ball into Burgess. 1-4-1 for 3. Wood is onto 46 from 39 deliveries. Critchley's got 6 from 11. 1 ball remaining in the over. I'll remind you about what's coming up this weekend. Double header here on Saturday, of course. Now he's in once more, Miles. From this pavilion end, he's bowled a short one there that Critchley's got probably on the glove. And he'll just run through for a quick single. That's the end of the over. 16 overs played. 1-4-2 for 3. So 24 balls remaining. 26 runs are required. Next up on Saturday is the game against Durham. We are here. We'll have it live for you on Bears Den TV. We'll have a crowd of 6,000 here. It's followed by the Central Sparks versus the Southern Vipers. The game is sold out. There are no tickets available for Saturday. However, we are playing the Yorkshire Vikings next Wednesday, the 30th of June. A limited number of tickets remain for the game, so log on to tickets.edgbaston.com to secure your tickets for £19 for adults. Under 16s are free at all times. And due to COVID guidelines, of course, Bears members and season pass holders, you need to log on to your online accounts to claim your complimentary tickets. Turning to Carlos Brathwaite again. Is this the last roll of the dice here, do you think, Paul?
I think so. Well, we got 4 overs left.
26 balls, 24 balls, 26 runs required.
We need wickets. We need 1 wicket, 2 wickets. In an ideal world, Warwickshire would have 2 men at the crease on 0 within an over. Preferably this over. And this guy's basically being brought back to try and do that.
It is the arrival of Brathwaite from the Birmingham end. First ball in the slot. Fields off his own bowling. Pirouettes, as you can see. He moves well.
For a big man, he does move well, doesn't he?
Really is a terrific addition to this Bears side. 1-4-2 for 3. 23 balls remaining. 26 runs required. I think it's a tighter finish than we thought it might be. Here's Brathwaite in. driven through the covers, going to be stopped, and it is stopped. Will Rhodes, the captain, does his work brilliantly. Just one run. Score moves to 143 for 3. 25 required. 22 balls remaining. The way things stand, it's a tight division as we talked about. There is a few other games going on tonight as well. England restricted Sri Lanka to 111 for 7 from their 20 overs in the T20 International, by the way. England 50 for 4 in reply. No Chris Wokes tonight for England. It's back down the ground just for a single there from Wood. He moves on to 47. It's 144 for 3. No other games in the northern group tonight of this competition. They're all in the south, where Essex require 9 from 1 over to beat Middlesex, who are at the bottom of the table. Glamorgan require 89 from 6 overs to get the better of Gloucestershire. Gloucestershire posting 216.
Big score.
In that fixture, bowled him!
Well,
Carlos Brathwaite wheels away. As he does, it's a leg stump Yorker that takes care of Critchley.
He's pretty happy, isn't he?
He's gone for 8. There's the wicket the Bears needed. 144 for 4, and Brathwaite strikes again.
That's what they need. In an ideal world, they'll have another one as well.
Well, if this game is going to get tight and interesting, that was required. Critchley, the player, out for 8. Another wicket for Carlos Brathwaite. That's his second. And the Bears together, just galvanising once more as a new batsman rakes his way towards the crease. I think Finn Hudson-Prentice is down as being the next man in. He is. He makes his way. 144 for 4.
So pressure's on him. Keep him on strike.
2 balls left in the over. 2 runs from it so far. So we have 20 deliveries remaining in this game. 20 runs required to win. Wood is on 47. He's the key here, really, isn't he?
He is, and he's the guy you've got to keep at the non-striker zone as much as possible. You know, and hope that the others panic. If the others panic, then when Wood gets on strike and nothing's been happening, he's panicking as well. So
Brathwaite with Bresnan. Conversation with Will Rhodes. What's the plan for Brathwaite? 2 balls to go in the over. Full ball squirted out into the offside by Hudson-Prentice. It brings Wood on to strike. 145 for 4. 23 required. 19 balls remaining. Wood is on 47. Get him out now, and it gets interesting.
it will.
Last ball from Carlos Brathwaite. Has he got some magic? Can Ricky pull off something special here? 2 for 27 so far. Last ball. Wide of the off stump. It was a full Yorker. Full and wide. No run off it. Excellent from Brathwaite. 2 for 27 from his 4 overs. And with 18 balls remaining, 23 are required here by the Derbyshire Falcons.
So, Warwickshire need a tight over now.
Craig Miles is going to bowl it. I mean, in terms of what's left, Norwell's got 2. Bresnan has 1. This is Miles' last over. So, I'm guessing 1 from Bresnan and 1 from Norwell to finish up. Matt Lamb obviously only turned his over for one over.
Unless he's going to pull a rabbit out the hat and give us surprises.
Well, the only other one would be himself. And I'm not sure he fancies it tonight. He's got plenty of options, which he's been using. Here's Miles then. Into bowl over 18. That's short. Up in the air. Could be out here. Hudson-Prentice. Lamb's got the catch. Miles gets the breakthrough. Another wicket's gone. 145 for 5. It's squeaky bum time in the Derbyshire dressing room.
Well, you know, I'm not saying I've seen these things happen a million times, but I do know the pressure. We have another... We got 2 people on the field now.
Well,
So if they get fined £1,000 each and there's 5 of them, it's who's getting the £5,000?
I was going to say.
Is that us? Can we have a cut of that? We're talking about them.
If only. They're doing rather well for themselves in that respect. It's a shame when you're only allowed 6,000 in that some of them think that running onto the pitch is advisable and clever. But in the meantime, big wicket for the Bears. Hudson Prentice gone. Still got Wood there. They could very much do with Wood not being there, that's for sure. He is now on strike as the batsman crossed while that was in the air as Lamb was taking that catch. And the new batsman is out, and it's, I think it's the wicket-keeper, Brooke Guest, who is the new batsman. Here's Miles in. This is the wicket they want. Wood, he's on 47. Plays it down the ground. He's only going to get 1. Guest wants the second. They feint as though they may go for it, but in the end choose not to on the arm of Tim Bresnan. It's just a single. 22 required. 16 balls remaining. It's been fairly static around that kind of figure, isn't it? Well, from being in a position of less than a run a ball, the Bears have really pulled this back, courtesy of Miles and Brathwaite and Briggs. Miles in again. 1 for 23 so far. Squirted off the inside edge from Guest. He gets his first run fortuitously as it runs down to fine leg, wide fine leg. Just a single. 21 required. 15 balls. Could do with a couple of dots here, really.
Could do with a hat-trick.
Yeah, that wouldn't go amiss.
Cometh the hour.
I think we'll take a couple of dot balls just to ramp the pressure up.
Yeah.
21 off 13 would suddenly go, okay, that's getting interesting. Miles is in again. That is the dot ball. Brathwaite fields. Really nicely from Miles.
They've brought it all together in the last 20 minutes or so.
Really has been a strong counter-attack here from the Bears with the ball. Consider they were getting pumped around in those opening 10 overs.
Sure.
It's tied in with when you arrived, Paul, to be fair. I think you may be a good luck omen this second spell. 2 left for Miles in the over. 14 deliveries to come. Short this one. Up in the air. Oh, and it's got a top edge. And it's going to go away for 4. Wood brings up his 50. 44 balls. He's on to 52. And that could have gone absolutely anywhere. But it's over the top of Burgess and runs away for 4 runs.
It's unlucky, isn't it, for the bowler?
17 required. 13 balls remaining. It's a short ball from Miles. Wood went for it. And he got his rewards. 1-5-1 for 5. The 150's up. Last ball of the 18th over. A chorus of singing around Edgbaston as they try and lift the team again. That's over the top of Rhodes' head for 4 more. Wood with a bit more confidence then. Plants Miles back over the skipper's head in the edge of the ring. 4 more runs. They move on to 155. They trail now or require just 13 runs for victory from the remaining 12 deliveries. We've been saying it for a while. The wicket of Wood would have been absolutely key, wouldn't it?
That's the wicket you want. Well, 12 balls to get it right.
I think Tim Bresnan is the player who's going to have the ball at the Birmingham end, which means Norwell will probably finish off down this end. So I'm guessing the assumption is here. It's now or never for Brezzy. Long conversation between Carlos Brathwaite and Tim Bresnan. Brathwaite is going out onto the square leg boundary. I can't think, with that boundary being so short, that he's going to plan to bomb it in short. In fact, he's now coming in to the edge of the circle. Very much reinforcing the offside here.
Yeah.
We have got third man's in the circle, fine legs in the circle. Here's Bresnan then. Needs wickets. Guest is on strike. Plays it out into the offside. They'll get a single. It's all they need now. 12 required from the last 11 balls. And it brings Wood onto strike. 56 from 45 deliveries so far. They've really fought hard in the second half of this innings, the Bears.
They have, yeah.
Real heart with the ball, when you consider they're missing the likes of Ollie Stone and Jake Lintott and Henry Brooks, Chris Wokes, of course. In comes Bresnan again from the Birmingham end. That's driven by Wood. It was a decent length. He's dug it out. And it'll be another single. Ball into the Burgess's hands. And it's 157 for 5. 11 required. Guest is on strike. Took 3 catches in the Bears innings. Did Guest, the wicket keeper. That's drilled up to long off. There's going to come back for a second here. Throw to the wicket keeper's end, but it's got back comfortably. It's really good running from the Derbyshire Falcons.
They've run well there, haven't they? I think you've got to work out whether, if you're at long on and long off, whether you're coming in 2 or 3 yards and stop the 2.
He's, I think, decided then he was going to stay where he was, but there's an opportunity as Bresnan comes in again. It's just squirted out into the offside once more by Guest. It'll be a single. And the target is now 8. They're each 160 for 5. 8 balls remaining. It's a runner ball required here for the Derbyshire Falcons to win only their 3rd game in the Blast this season. And it will put them up to 6 points. Just 3 behind the Bears. Gone big this time as Wood. Straight down the ground. All the way for 6. And he's doing it in style here. Tom Wood back in the starting lineup. He had a fitness test before the game. And he's guiding the Falcons home here. He's on to 63. And they just need 2 more for victory. Tim Bresnan from the Birmingham end will have 1 more delivery. 2 required. Well, there's a discussion that only went for 4. The umpire signalled 6.
I
but
saw that.
They're claiming it only did a 4. So that's been revised. So it's actually 4 required then.
Okay.
Off the last 7 deliveries. I think that's just been explained by the umpire. So Wood is on 61 from 47 balls. Looking to wrap things up here for the Falcons. Bresnan, full, played out on the offside. They're going to come back for 2. Quick throw in from Hayne. Bresnan fields, and they'll go into the final over, requiring just 2 runs. 166 for 5 with 1 over remaining. A reminder, you can choose your deep player man of the match. Just head to the Edgbaston app. At Warwickshire County Cricket Club on Twitter is the other option to cast your vote. And it's going to be Liam Norwell to bowl this final over. And 1 to tie, 2 to win for the Falcons. Wood on 63. Guest is on 5. And he will be on strike to try and finish this off. Everyone in. Here's the cry from the skipper. There's 2 out on the boundary, but you feel that the die has been cast here. 6 balls remaining. They'll get the opportunity to bounce back on Saturday. Durham, the visitors. It's sold out, of course, but you can follow it right here on Bears Den TV. 2:30 start, so we'll be with you building up to the action from 2 o'clock. And it's back over Norwell's head. That's 4, and look at the celebration from Guest and Wood. The Derbyshire Falcons have victory here. They've won by 5 wickets. It feels fairly comprehensive in the end. The Bears posting 167 for 9 with a top score from Pollock of 46, Burgess 41, 34 of course from Tim Bresnan and 22 from Matt Lamb. And in response, the Derbyshire Falcons have got home with 5 balls to spare here. They've won by 5 wickets. Tom Wood 63 in the end, very key. Deploy scored 57. Guest has finished up 9 not out in the end. The bowling figures for the Bears: Norwell 2.1 overs, none for 31. Bresnan 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 52. Expensive tonight. Danny Briggs 4 overs, no maidens, 0 for 19. Carlos Brathwaite 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 27. Craig Miles, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 32, and just 1 over from Matt Lamb for 9 runs. Paul Smith, the Warwickshire legend, alongside me. It was going to be difficult. Those early loss of wickets, really, in the Warwickshire innings, what stifled their total, and ultimately the result was kind. I wouldn't say it wasn't academic. It was far from academic, but they were on the back foot from early on, weren't they, Paul?
Yeah, especially when Derby came out and played so positively straight away. It wasn't the Bears' night tonight. I mean, they can take heart from aspects of this game, but I mean, they'll know themselves where their shortfalls in their performances have been this evening. You know, and you have to. This gentleman's doing cartwheels on the test wicket. I'm not convinced the groundsman will be too impressed with that.
No, the stewards after them all. There's a fair few who've decided they're going to take their chance on the outfield now. In fact, there's a lot of them going to take their chances on the outfield, which is probably no great surprise at the end of this game. Fair carnage. I think there's a bit of beer drunk anyway. Paul, so. They've got a chance to bounce back Saturday against Durham. They've been in great form, of course. They've already got 4 victories. Important here to get that win on Saturday against Durham.
Undoubtedly. You know, you need to get back on a winning streak. I mean, you know, all the guys can play. They're young. They'll be disappointed tonight. But as you say, you know, you have to analyse where you think that you've gone wrong this evening. Have a day off tomorrow, maybe. And get stuck in. Next fixture.
And we'll try and do that, Paul. Great to have you with us. Thanks for your company tonight.
Not a problem.
That's it from Edgbaston then. It's not the best of nights for the Bears. The first home game of the campaign. Tim Bresnan was voted as the man or the player of the match. So congratulations to Tim for his efforts tonight. Wickets and runs as well. All in vain, though. The Bears have lost here in their opening game at home in this Vitality Blast. We are back. Bears 10 TV will be live with you on Saturday for the game against Durham. It's a doubleheader, of course, with the Central Sparks against the Southern Vipers as well. Thanks for your company this evening. Not the result we wanted, but we'll be back on Saturday. Until next time, take care.